You are tuned in to episode 99 of the Goodfellas podcast. It's your boy G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. Got my main man with me, VP Shane in the building. What's going on, little bro?
See,
Boxing First Vlog, big shout out to you. Unfortunately, he will not be in here with us today, but big shout out to him. Get a chance, definitely go subscribe to his channel. Definitely go to g5jeftv.com and check out the Division Kings Part 1 article that he pinned up for us. Real good read. So definitely do that. But we are 2 days away. 2 days away. Devin Haney, George Kambosos. And we have other stuff to take care of as well. Stephen Fulton, Danny Roman, that fight is going down. We also we have who do we have? We actually have somebody fighting tonight. Why is the name slipping me? Chris Conwell's fighting tonight in Quebec, Canada. If you want to see that fight, you can actually go to Pro Bellum website and register, and you'll be able to watch that fight. Chris Conwell is ranked number 4 right now at 154 pounds, so he's a must watch. I don't think anyone serious, but look like it's a stay busy fight. But we'll see how that plays out. But we got a lot of news, like a lot of news to cover, and we're gonna get to Haney Kambosos a lot quicker than we did yesterday. But it is a lot of news we gotta announce as well. It looks like Adrian Broner will be back July 23rd in a fight that should have happened about 3-4 years ago against Figueroa. So that fight will be going down. Trying to think what else are we missing. David Morrell is supposed to be fighting as well. Calvin Henderson.
isn't he fighting on the
Yeah, I think he's fighting
on the card?
Yeah, he's fighting on the Fulton undercard. Malik Warren fights this Saturday as well. Big shout out to Malik Warren. Who else are we forgetting?
Did you hear about the reports of Tank Davis and Helena Ellaby and Eddie Hearn?
No, talk to me.
I mean, obviously Eddie Hearn's basically been saying that he's going to do everything in his power to sign Tank Davis. Basically, now he's a free agent. I'm assuming he's going to be putting some big offers. And then Leonard Ellaby was saying how he's going to stomp Eddie Hearn out. And he must have said to Eddie Hearn that he knows people in New York, so be careful how you move, and basically threatening him, like from a physical perspective. Like,
Do he know who Eddie Hearn is?
What does he mean by? What would you mean?
Eddie Hearn ain't moving around by himself.
Yeah, of course not.
He got just as many connections as Ellaby. And listen, I'll tell you this story off camera, but there is for the people that know, that's in the know, there's a certain story about Leonard Ellaby that's been floating around in the streets for a couple years, or he got embarrassed pretty badly. Shane, I'll talk to you about that off camera.
Yeah, but, please.
I'm surprised he's the one that's talking the way he's talking. Because once I tell you the story off camera, you're gonna be like, "Whoa!"
Is it true? Is it true?
I believe it is. I was told by like 4 different people. I put it to you like this: it involves you remember the person that had some people going to the Mayweather gym?
Yeah. But
so,
it's different though, because he's a serious hombre, so it's different.
Yeah. So
I mean, to me, like I've actually I've actually met Leonard Ellaby. I've seen Leonard Ellaby in person.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the impression I got from meeting Leonard Ellaby, and I'll say this because I have no ties against him or for him, he's just a dude who loves attention. Like, he just loves the limelight, he loves the attention. And he seems like, you know, someone who's over boasty, like they just boast too much. You know, a dude who will just buy all the nicest clothes, nice, like they just over out there, like just over unnecessarily. That's how this dude is. And I got the impression that he felt that he's better than everyone. When I met him, that's the impression that I got. Now I could be wrong, but that's the
Right.
impression that I got. And I
I
have
never.
no reason to say this negatively or positively for him or against him. I'm telling you based on my impressions, you know.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I've never
He's not
met
a
him.
humble dude. He's not a humble dude. That's my word. Like he's not humble.
Yeah, I never met him before. That's not the first time I've heard that. I try to, and I try to evaluate people when I do meet them. But if you don't meet somebody, you really all you have to go on is what other people saying. You know what I'm saying? If it's pretty consistent, then it is what it is. But I don't know what Eddie Hearn could do for Tank Davis outside of pay him. He could take him on the craziest European tour ever. I mean, it'd be you know something that
I mean,
Canelo and Goodfellas done.
Eddie Hearn still believes that Devin Haney will re-sign with him after he becomes undisputed. So
But see, that's not smart business. You sign him before he has the belts. Like, you know what I'm saying?
no, but he,
Like,
he did sign him before he had the belts.
but you extend him before he
No,
gets the belts.
but you got to remember Eddie and even even Bill Haney said it. He said that the only reason why we were able to make the Kambosos fight it was because of what Eddie Hearn done, and he had Devin Haney on a contract where they could mutually agree for him to leave and go and get the fight. You know, if he was signed like on a proper deal, we wouldn't be seeing Undisputed right now. You know, and Bill Haney had commended Eddie Hearn for that. I mean, I've criticized Eddie Hearn for a lot of things, but I feel like in this instance, you know, does it benefit Tank for him to get signed with Eddie Hearn? I mean, personally, if he's getting more money, I will say it does. Do you know why I say it does, Jeff? Because they ain't gonna put Tank Davis with anybody with anybody anyway. We ain't gonna see Tank Davis in there with Ryan Garcia. We ain't gonna see him in there with Loma Lopez or Devin Haney, whether
Mm-hmm.
he's with Mayweather or with Eddie Hearn. You see my point? So if it's gonna benefit him financially, then I'll say go ahead. You know.
Let me get in the comment section. Rob Acosta in the building. He gave away my secret. He said, "Yo, Jeff, you sending the link?" Yes, I am sending you the link momentarily. Big shout out to Rob Acosta. He'll be in here any moment. But we gonna cover Haney Kambosos. Let me get this link to him real quick. That's my guy too. Hold on. And for the people that's listening, y'all about to get a treat, man. Rob Acosta about to jump on with us, man. Um, he's known for being the strength and conditioning coach for maybe the hottest fighter in the sport in Jerron Boots Ennis.
But
But he,
that gym's
yeah,
got loads of fighters, and obviously
yeah,
one of the fighter out of that gym is fighting this week. You know, Stephen Fulton. So
yeah,
best person to get on.
yeah,
You know, two
um,
insiders we had on this week: Padman McGriff and
yeah. Now
Robert
Rob
Costa.
Acosta, yeah, now Rob Acosta's coming. So,
I mean,
um,
I ain't heard nobody talk about this Stephen Fulton fight, which is just pretty disturbing to be
it's
honest.
definitely disturbing. It's definitely disturbing, and that's why I wanna get him in here because I mean, Shane, we talked about this off camera. I'm like, Fulton can make the legitimate claim he's the king of Philly when it comes down to just being the top dog in the city, and that don't
But
come easy. That don't come easy, you know.
Jeff, you know what you made a mistake with?
Mhm.
The thumbnail.
I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. I didn't know at the time. But he's supposed to come back on next week too. So I'll say that one for next week.
Nah, but you didn't put a thumbnail for this live regardless.
Are you serious?
Bro,
What?
go check. Check
What?
right now.
What?
Check right now.
Oh, I'm about to check. Hold on.
That's why it's a bit slow right now. Check.
Oh shit. Damn, that's some bullshit. I can't even go back and change it because we live.
Exactly.
Damn. Damn, I dropped the ball. Damn. Damn, I dropped the ball. I put a post up. I put a post up on YouTube saying I was coming on, but god damn, like I'm slipping. I did it in the car too, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
I
nonsense,
was
man.
wondering if it was my phone, but then I'm like, no, this is actually that. What did I just do? Yeah.
In 99 episodes, that's the first time I've done that. Absolutely crazy.
It had to be you know they say one time out of 90, one time out of 100. They always say that, and this is actually the one time out of
One
100.
time out of 100, I didn't
They
put a thumb
always say that. One in 100. And look,
crazy.
one in 100.
Absolutely crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Like, wow. Davidian in the building. Big shout out to you. He said, what's good, my boxing brothers? Hey man, big shout out to you, family. We got a treat. Got a treat for you, man. Rob Acosta coming through. Strip and conditioning coach for Jerron Boots and a host of other fighters too. And when he gets on, I want him to actually tell us who else he's actually what other clients he actually has. So, it's important for us to know. Of course, we know him for Boots, but we need to know the real groundwork that he's putting in with guys in Bozy in his gym. So we'll definitely have him in here momentarily. But while we're doing that, we let's get into let's go back to Haney Kambosos while we wait for Rob. Um, just I know we talked about it yesterday, but just sleeping on it. Have you has everything remained the same as far as like just your feelings on how the fight's gonna play out?
I'm as convinced as I was yesterday that Devin Haney should deal with the fight pretty straightforward. There's I just feel like there's just such a disparity in skill level. When you just
Right,
break down the X's and O's of boxing, your ability to throw a jab, your ability to use your feet, your ability to use your hands defensively, your ring IQ, how do you work um off the back foot? How do you work off the front foot? Just the X's and O's of boxing. I just don't think Kambosos has the ability to beat Devin Haney. I mean, I hear a lot of people talking about. I mean, I was watching Lowdown's live today, and they were talking about um how the fact that Devin Haney's in a fight, his biggest fight of his career, and he doesn't have his dad, and what effect that might have on him. And as an analyst, I can't speak on something I don't know. I can only assume, and to me, I'm just thinking to myself, Devin Haney's natural skill level should be able to get him through. I've always just felt that when you break down these styles, and I even said this when Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, I said, if there's one style Devin Haney would have wanted to fight out of every single one, it would have been Kambosos. I just feel like, but I've never spoken about the weaknesses of Devin Haney. And I'm gonna talk about the weaknesses of Devin Haney today. And if I was in Kambosos' camp, I'll speak about the ways in what I would exploit for Devin Haney if I was in Kambosos' camp. Because I believe, just based on my eye in boxing, that I can come up with a game plan to beat any fighter. I can come up with a game plan to beat any fighter because I can see weaknesses and holes in any fighter.
hey, bro, I have to give you your one exception though. You could not come up with a game plan for Canelo to beat Bivol.
Uh, I couldn't come up with. But no, but you know what? You know what? With that
Right,
one, the
right,
problem with that is that was more down to styles. Like literally, Canelo. I would have to ask Canelo to do things I've never seen him do in a 55, 56 fight career. You see my
right,
point? Well, I could
Right.
come up with a game plan to beat Bivol very simply, but Biv Canelo doesn't do it. He's never done it before. Canelo's never been a back foot fighter. Canelo's never been a pressure fighter who relies on out and out output. He takes too much rest in between his punch combinations. Whereas a Benavides, for example, or Zerdo Ramirez, they go from minute 1 to minute 36. They're just a goal. You see my point?
Right.
And there's no breaks. They're throwing 8, 9, 10 punch combinations and they're still moving forward, sitting right on your chest, just working, throwing punches as much as possible as Canelo picks his punches, you know. And that's where I would say I could come up with a game plan to beat Bivol, but Canelo would just have to reinvent himself.
Yeah, because I know me and Blunt was on camera, and we was just like, yo, like we was watching highlights, and we like, I don't know what Canelo can do. Like based off of his skill set, I was like, yo, I don't know what he could do.
But I did
Um,
come up with a way with if I was Kambosos, what I would do. If
wait,
I was
so
Kambosos, what I
so
would do.
let's get into that now. Like, if you had to come up with a game plan for Kambosos to be in the fight with Devin Haney and possibly win the fight, what's your strategy?
First thing we got to look at the weaknesses of Devin Haney. One of Devin Haney's biggest weaknesses, and everybody sees it. He pulls out with his head with his hands down. You see him do that where literally he's always like leaning back, pulling back with his hands down. You know, he might slip and slide, but after he finishes his combination, he pulls out with his hands down. You know, so you want to try follow this dude out the back door as much as you can, especially with straight shots. You know, that's the first thing I would do. And the second thing is, I think Devin Haney has this tendency to, especially when he's in the pocket, he's looking to rip shots off, but he's not always the most defensively responsible going from offense to defense. There's a skill going to defense to offense is one thing because I feel like his counter punching skills is good, but then he also gets countered himself, and that's just down to me. His hand placement is more down to again more premeditation than actual reaction. He doesn't react to stuff enough. You know, I want to see a lot more reaction. And another thing is this dude relies on a shoulder roll coming forward. That's just a very bad combination. You know, when you're moving forward, walking and fighter down, you don't want to be side on. You see my point? You want to almost square up, especially when you're trying to rip shots off, because you're limiting the range in which punches you can land. So that's another thing that I'll be looking to exploit. But the first thing I'll be looking to exploit is the psychological aspect of Devin Haney. And that'll be me using lateral movement, you know, going on the back foot, moving. If I'm Kambosos, I'm psychologically getting into his head. First 2 rounds, I'm turning off the output. You know, I'm moving, running, putting my arms behind my back, all of that stuff just to get into Devin Haney's head to make him feel like he's losing the rounds, even though there's no punches being thrown. You know, crowds buy into that. The judges buy into that. Your opponent can buy into that, and psychologically, you could Devin Haney's thinking, I need to step up the output, even though we ain't landing nothing. He's thinking that he has to step up the output. So that's the first thing I would do, and then the second thing is, you know, as I said, just follow the dude at the back door, keep throwing straight shots, and when you're throwing your right hand, throw your right hand and feint with it. You know, don't just throw your right hand straight down the pipe and let let Devin Haney time it and get the speed or the velocity of your punches. You got to feint with it and throw it at different speeds. That would be my advice for Kambosos.
Yeah, I would if I'm Cambosis, and we're focusing mainly on Cambosis because Haney is pretty straight up and down in terms of what he needs to do. But we haven't really heard anybody really get into what Cambosis needs to do. Uh, First thing Cambosis needs to do, he needs to quicken the pace. He needs to quicken the pace. Uh, a guy like Devin Haney, if you let him fight that methodical pace, that plays right into Devin Haney's hands. Because when you're in that pace, that's jab, jab, jab,
I
pot shot.
disagree, man. I disagree. I can't lie, bro. I disagree. I
How
disagree so much.
How?
Because I think a fast pace
Kambosos don't
suits.
have a
I
slow
think a
game.
fa- I think a fast pace suits Devin Haney so much.
No, we're talking Kambosos. It fits
You know,
Cam.
I know, but you're saying he should make the pace as fast as possible. If
Right.
Kambosos was to try fight at a fast pace with Devin Haney just gonna pick this dude apart.
No, he's gonna pick him apart at a slower pace.
I think
At
he's
a
gonna pick him
faster
apart at a faster pace.
at a faster pace, well, let me explain it a little bit more. So at a faster pace, if you look at the times that Devin Haney has had any type of issues with anybody, it's when the pace has been quickened.
Yeah, but that's after a barrage of attacks. Like
But
David
that's
Haney literally just destroys them. He schools them so much because they try to be as aggressive as possible and just be relentless with his pressure and fight at such a high tempo. And he's got the footwork and the pivot skill to just make you look so amateurish. And that's something that I wouldn't be trying to do if I'm Kambosos. The reason
well,
why I'm saying make the fight slow is because a slow pace round, if nobody lands anything, you're gonna win the
but
round.
but you keep going to that, and you can't bank on that though. You can't bank on that. Like you're literally trying to make the pitch to not do shit and win the rounds. Like
Yeah,
but you can't bank on that, Shane. You can't bank
I
on
I
that,
I can't bank on anything because Kambosos is not that good. So I'm
bro,
struggling in the
bro.
first place.
But that's what I'm saying. You basically telling the man not to work to win rounds, to
But
possibly win rounds.
if you wanna work, bro, you're gonna know like it's the same. It's very similar. I'm being dead honest. It's very similar to when I watched, and I'm keep saying this. It's very similar to when I'm breaking down Klitschko and Fury, bro. It's very similar. Like he had to turn off the output because when he broke down the X's and O's of things, Klitschko was better than him at so many things. Like he was better than him at that time. Klitschko was better than him at so many things. He just turned off the output so much. Like he
Bro,
made the fight slow, so slow, and that's
but
what
you
I'm thinking Kambosos needs to do.
but you do realize that that has happened very few times in boxing history. That somebody literally did that game plan and it actually worked.
Yeah,
Very
yeah, I
few.
know.
Very few.
I'm just, I'm just telling you, bro. If Kambosos
No,
feels like he's gonna go in there
I hear you.
and try outpace Devin Haney with his output. I'm hearing him talk about output. I'm like, bro, if you go in there with a high output, Devin Haney's the last person I'll do it with. I'll do it with Tank. I'll do it with Ryan. I'll do it with Tiafimo. I would not do that with Devin Haney. Because for one, we haven't seen stamina issues with Devin Haney. And for two, this dude is a pure boxer. And one thing matadors love is a ball. That's all matadors love, bro.
This is the thing though. So here's the thing. This is why a slow game don't work for Kambosos. Number one, he's not used to doing it. So he's going
Fact.
outside of his character. So he's not. You don't go into a unification fight doing something that you're not used to doing. So that from that off top is not gonna it's not gonna work for him. Number two, in a slower pace, Devin Haney's gonna eat him alive with that size and that jab. He's gonna eat him alive, and it'll take a little longer, but he's gonna eat him alive with that jab in his physicality because he's physically bigger than Kambosos. So I'll rephrase it this way: if Kambosos wants to have any type of success offensively, he may pay for it, but he's gonna have to quicken the pace. He's gonna have to. He gonna have to. Now
I mean,
he may get clipped in the process, but
I've
he be
just seen
better off. He
that.
be better off quickening up the pace than to fight a slow game
I'm
with
seeing a
Devin Haney.
12-0, bro. If he fights that, or maybe 11-1, 10-2, maybe. At
If
least
it's
if
a slow
at
game,
least it's
if
a
it's
slow
slow,
game. If it's a slow game fight, they might give him some sympathy rounds early, just because there's no punches being landed. That's how
right?
I'm seeing it, bro. And maybe that might frustrate Devin Haney, and Devin Haney might go against his game plan because the fight's so slow paced and nobody's landed anything. Then maybe I might have to
It's
overcompensate and create openings. I
it's
can't
just
see a way Devin Kambosos can only win with Devin Haney's help. That's the only way Kambosos can win this fight, bro. I'm being dead
but
serious. I
that's what I'm
can't see
saying.
how
Like he's
Kambosos can win this fight.
but but he's gonna have to catch Devin Haney with something. He's not gonna be able to catch him in no slow game. He's not gonna be able to catch him with anything because that's right up Devin's alley. The
But
only
I'm just
time Devin
thinking. Go on.
But the only times Devin Haney has been caught has been in rapid exchanges when the pace
No,
is
no,
quick.
no facts. But if you look at all of them fights, Devin Haney's won 12-0, 11-1, and those dudes are waiting on isolated moments to drop this
I'm
dude or
with you.
stop this dude, and
I'm with
it
you.
don't work.
And
To
it's kind of
me,
like a pick your poison.
yeah, to me, if you go slow, all I'm saying is there may be a chance where if the fight's a low tempo and Devin Haney's not really landing much, you're not landing much, Devin Haney might get desperate. You see my point? That's what I'm saying. There's a chance
I
that Devin Haney
I
might
agree.
get desperate.
So that's a strategy that could work because you want to put the mental pressure on Devin Haney. So I understand where you're going. It's really I'm not questioning the strategy. I'm questioning the fact that can Kambosos actually pull that off, and I don't think so. Let me
I
get in the
get you.
comments. Let me get in the
I get
comments.
you.
AI in the building. Big shout out to AI. Says salute G5 Jeff TV. Salute to you, family. Will Stokes in the building. Will Stokes in the building. Big shout out to Will. He said, "Man, hype for Kambosos Haney. Most excited I've been for a fight this year. I think it's gonna be a good fight, bro. Real good fight." He said potentially the biggest issue for Cam will be Haney's educated lead hand. Kambosos has an awkward stance where his head is over his lead foot. It could fall directly in Haney's hands, literally.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
that's a good point.
And this is a dude who, weirdly enough, his power punch. And I know a lot of people talk about the right hand because that's what dropped Teofimo Lopez. But
Mhm.
he likes to load up on left hooks a lot as well. So
Yeah.
he,
I feel you, bro. Oh, Will said Kambosos is not that good. Slow down, Shane. This man dismantled the number one lightweight in the world.
He didn't. This is what I keep saying to people, bro. For one, this dude almost got stopped by Teofimo Lopez, and Teofimo Lopez had the worst night of his life against Kambosos. Teofimo Lopez also had the worst cornerman instructions other than Eddie Reynoso and Canelo, but he had the worst cornerman instructions that I've heard in my life. His dad was sounding like a fan in there. His dad was like, "Go and get him, go and get him. You can do it." I'm thinking, what are you doing? Give him some strategy. You're just
Yo,
sounding like a fan. And
this
another thing is, sorry to cut you off,
no,
Jeff.
you
He
good, you
went in
good.
there with the worst game plan. This dude literally just running there like a bull in a China store, just trying to destroy everything with no prep. And I'm gonna say this to people, and I'm gonna say it once. There's in boxing, there's one thing that is a privilege, and the privilege is to land power punches. You don't have a right, or you don't have a right to land power punches. You have to earn the right to land power punches. And Teofimo Lopez didn't do nothing to earn that right. He just thought he could just go in there and land my power punch and go home. No respect whatsoever. It's like, when you're growing up, Jeff, you say you want to go out and play with you want to go out and play with your friends on the street. Your mum will tell you you have to clean up or do your homework or something.
Right.
This dude didn't clean up and he didn't do his homework. He didn't have no respect. Dude didn't clean up nothing. That was a messy fight, and he didn't do his homework on his opponent, bro. He
Bro.
just went out there and thought he could have fun and forgot about his responsibilities. That's what
Yeah.
this dude done.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Young Bruce in the building. He said that anyone could have beat Lopez. I'm assuming that night.
That's a
Uh
fact, bro.
yeah. Stormy B man, what's going on with your family? He said salute G5 Jeff TV. I'm a new subscriber to your channel. Very intellectual, strategic conversation. Hey
That's
man, that's
every
what we
week.
do. That's
That's every live.
every time we
That's
jump
every
on, bro.
live.
That's what we do, bro.
That's every live.
Mark Nash said, "What up, family? Big shout out to you, bro." Will Stoops. I don't know how much I can trust Shane's predictions anymore. This is the man who picked Jamel Herring to beat Shakur, and
I
also the
didn't.
man who picked Wilder 3 times in a row.
I didn't pick Jamel Herring to beat Shakur. I just said I like those odds, and I said Shakur Stevenson. It's on live. I said Shakur Stevenson is gonna have to show me. That's all I said. He's gonna have to show me, and he showed me. At that time, Shakur Stevenson hadn't fought an elite fighter yet, so I was like, he had to show me, and he showed me. But why don't you bring up the fact that you picked Kell Brook to beat Crawford, and Crawford knocked me through that in 3 rounds? Why don't you talk
Uh,
about the fact that I picked Bivol to beat Canelo easily? Let's talk about that. Why don't you talk about the fact that you picked AJ to beat Usyk and you got absolutely swamped? Why don't you talk
yo,
about that? And yes, I did pick Wilder to beat Fury 3 times.
yo, and the thing is, we had this back and forth for the people that's new. we got a boxing prediction fantasy league that goes down on the website g5jeftv.com. We're gonna
And
have
Will
season
Stokes
three.
won.
And
And Will Stokes
Will
won.
Stokes won season two of the fantasy league,
Five
man. We're
hundred
gonna
and
get it
$50.
$550, man, and it's pending in my account, and it should be in there tomorrow. So yeah, that's just something that we do on the channel, man. Bruce in the building says salute my brothers G5 and Shane. Yo, tell my man to check his email. Um Tell my man check his email. Mark Nash said Will Stokes laughing. Bruce Stormy B said, "What do you think I know?" Hold on. Will Stokes. He said it's all love, Shane, but I did have to just bring that up real quick.
Of course.
We know.
I can't even speak to Will Stokes. He just won the fantasy
Yeah,
league.
he
But what
just won
can
the
I
fantasy
say?
league. It's kind of hard to say anything to him. Mark Nash said Stormy, he said and saw I think it might be a typo. Show you have set for later. I'm excited about that one. Always respected. Hole and Oots. Okay. Mark Nash said, Bruce, what up? Yeah, listen, we're gonna have strength and conditioning coach for Boots Ennis, Rob Acosta. He will be in here soon. So definitely just sit tight. He'll definitely be up in here, man. If y'all got any questions for him, definitely shoot it to him. But he will be in Minnesota. He's gonna be working with Malik Warren. Malik Warren has a 6-round fight on the undercard of the Fulton card. So
I
that's
mean,
big.
obviously, him being connected in that gym, just that gym alone with Fulton as well. So just
Yeah,
having him on this week just gives a good insight to what I would call a very big week for boxing.
I think.
Obviously,
Yeah,
Padman was on for the Devin Haney, and then obviously getting someone who was inside Fulton's camp. Well, not really
yeah,
inside, but they come from the same gym. So
yeah. And for the people the people that's in here, what we like to do occasionally, is we like to throw the link in the chat sometimes and just let people get on. If you can, if you're interested in actually getting on the show with us, drop a one in the comment section. Drop a one in the comment section
I thought you
if
were
you're
doing it for
interested.
tomorrow's live.
Yeah, I know, but just in general, I just want to kind of get a gauge of who will be interested in that. So if you want to jump on at any time, or you interested in jumping on the show with us at some point, drop a one in the comment section. Uh, Will Stokes is going crazy in the comment section right now. Stormy B Man 100. Aaron Parker said, "What up, G5 in the chat?" Big shout out to you, family. Big shout out to you. Will Stokes, hi Shane. The Kell Brook one was a bad one, but then
Okay.
again, I did say Shakur was gonna easily beat Jamel, and he did. Anyway, it's up and downs for us both. Hey, but you won the league, man. I can't. I got nothing. Like I got nothing. Just more downs for you. He just taking shots. Bruce, Stormy B. All right. Yeah. So AI said definitely would like to get on, not today, but in the future. Yeah. So what I want to do is basically just connect with you guys. I don't know if you on IG, Twitter, Facebook, whatever the case may be. We can definitely line it up to your schedule, and pick a day where it's good for you, and just you could just jump on. It could be 3, 4 y'all jump on at the same time. It really don't matter to me. But we're one of the few podcasts that actually bring the people from the chat and actually have them into the show. Like especially if you active in the comment section, I'd be like, bro, you typing too much. Like just come on in. It took forever to get Will Stokes in here. It took us forever to get Will Stokes in this joint. Hey Shane, am I
Yeah.
lying?
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a
Yeah, I'm
fact.
like everybody. People be comfortable in the comment section, but a lot of people don't want to jump on. So I really I have to legit have to ask. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean,
it's
it's real difficult, like because a lot of we're gonna struggle to eventually create a premium service because a lot of things what people do for a premium service we do for free. Like I
facts.
see people. I don't really watch much other channels, but I know people do super chats where they like the only chats that they read are the super chats. That's cool, respectful for them. We read every chat. Like I think we've done Jeff has 2,000 videos or over 2,000 videos on his channel, and he's responded to every single comment on every single video.
Yeah.
Literally responds to every single comment. Like there's a video on the channel. I remember one of the first videos. I remember this video got 100 and something thousand in 2 days. The Pacquiao video. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
That one, Jeff responded to almost every single comment. Jeff will, the number one thing about this channel is interaction. So,
That's the
like,
main thing.
even if we're on live for 2 hours, 3 hours, he will get through every single comment in the comment section.
Yo, you know
in
the thing
the
that's
live.
crazy?
So,
The thing that's crazy, I went through I was on with L Dub, I think it might have been like a month or two ago. And we was on there for probably about like an hour flat. So I'm so used to being on here, being on for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5. He was like, all right, we're gonna wrap this thing up. I'm looking at my watch, I'm like, what? Like that like you just be zoned out, man, like for real. AI, we could definitely line that up. Bruce said, always good to talk to you. Big Drew says, awesome on the email. Yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna send him my number so we can wrap. Bruce, I'm gonna send you mine too. Like we definitely need to wrap, like for sure, set something up. Woke the Truth says salute to you, family.
so yeah,
Salute to you.
back to Kambosos and Haney.
Oh yeah, bro. Listen. All right, so I'm gonna get off the slow pace, fast pace thing because I think Devin Haney has the advantage either way. So let's actually entertain your possible strategy, right? So let's say he slows the pace, he's moving around the ring, pot shots here and there, occasional jab, and he's just slow pacing it.
A lot of clinching. I would suggest a lot of clinching.
Yeah, so he just slows the pace completely down to where it's like halfway through the fight, you're like, this is a boring ass fight. I think Haney's winning, but it's a boring ass fight. I don't know. And then if he don't know, like if the crowd don't know and the fans don't know, then Haney and his team might be like, we're not winning clearly enough.
Exactly.
So now I got to mash on the gas. So I understand that. My point is, I don't think Kambosos is smart enough to do that. Like, unless he's listening to this show, I don't think he's smart enough to do that.
And I don't think he has the ability to do it neither. And to me, I'm just trying to come up with some, because in my mind, I'm thinking in order for Kambosos to win this fight, he's going to need Devin Haney's help. Devin Haney's going to have to make mistakes for Kambosos to win. Just like Teofimo made mistakes. Like Teofimo made so much mistakes for Kambosos to win. And Teofimo still almost knocked this dude out, bro. Like, I think people are forgetting this dude is very, very flawed. Like, I know he's got some good skills, and I spoke about the skills that he has good in the previous podcast, but he's got some gaping holes, like things that I'm just thinking, Devin Haney is better than him at almost everything, other than maybe punch power. This dude is better than him at everything. And I'm just thinking, if you try and make this a high tempo fight, I can see you getting 12-0, 11-1, 10-2, easy. Easy. Because he's just better than you. Literally, he's just better than you. But if you make it a slow pace fight, and I brought up the example of Klitschko Fury, where for the first 4 rounds, there was literally 6 punches landed in the round. And I'm thinking, how do you conclusively give a round to someone when there's only 6 punches that's landed in it? You see my point, Jeff? And after a while, as an opponent in an opponent's backyard, you start to think, maybe I'm losing this fight. And then you might start to pump on the gas and make mistakes that you wouldn't normally make if it was even playing field.
Listen, I put it to you like this, bro. Like, we've had people throughout boxing history that have purposely slow the game down and it be successful. Like B-Hop is notorious for that shit. Like, that's how he won a lot of his fights when he got up in age. He would completely slow the pace down. We call it the jab and grab. He would jab you, then grab you. Like, that's what he does. And he does that during the course of a round, and all you remember is a dude just breaking out of the clinch. And you got to say he lost the round because he stalled. You know what I'm saying? He might have got hit
what B-Hop done amazing was he worked so well in the clinch. So he won so much fights off just working in the clinch, bro. Like, if you can work in the clinch, having that hand free. And one thing I will say about Kambosos is, which I give him credit for, especially in that Lee Selby fight, was when he was in the clinch, he done a very good job of getting his arm up and using his arm to get a little bit of distance so he can use the other hand to throw the punches. If he can do that with Devin Haney, the crowd's gonna make all the noise for you, bro. You just need to look like you're doing something.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Woke the truth. He said new sub from the LDBC. Great interview with the coach. Hey man, we appreciate that, man. That's something we do on a regular basis, man. And you know what I'm saying? Big shout out to LDBC too, man.
I
Like
mean, what's it called?
I gotta stay ready, man. I don't know if you cool with stay ready, but stay ready,
Stay ready is our guy. I mean, a lot of people. Jeff always gets confused with like being part of the LDBC just because he's black and American. Like, obviously respect all the time.
Yeah,
like.
It's respect. Yeah, I mean, it's respect. It's all love at the end of the day, man. We just be in here trying to talk some boxing. That's Will Stokes' question: who has faster hands, Kambosos or Haney? Shane, you want to answer that?
Who has faster hands, Kambosos or Haney? What defensively or offensively?
He's probably talking offensively.
Offensively, I think Devin Haney's probably got slightly quicker hands. I just think Kambosos is just, to me, especially with his he's just much more explosive. I wouldn't say he's quicker. I would say Devin Haney definitely has faster hands in terms of hand placement, in terms of I'm a catch a shot, then I'm a fire a shot. You know, in terms of where I'm a position my hands, he definitely has faster hands, and he has significantly faster head movement. Significantly, like his head movement is miles faster than Kambosos.
Yeah, Kambosos, his combination punching is probably quicker. Kambosos' combination punching is probably quicker because he doesn't.
He's recoil. He's recoil.
Everything's right in front of him, so he go da 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 da. Like where Haney's bringing him back. Jab is coming from the shoulders. The hook coming from the shoulders. Where Kambosos will give it to you, or he'll never pull his hands back, so it looks faster.
Yeah, the recoil is like like what gets to the target faster, a sniper or a AK-47. The recoil,
absolutely. Will Stokes, I think it might actually be Kambosos. Yeah, it depends on how you look at it. Will Stokes, how is Haney gonna 12-0 Kambosos when he went 7-5 with JoJo? JoJo
when you find 5 rounds that JoJo won, bro,
hey, Will, cut that out. Will, cut that out, bro. He ain't went nowhere near no 5 rounds, bro. Stop that. And I like JoJo. Go back and watch that fight, bro. Go back and watch that fight. There's no way he won 5. Hell no.
I think JoJo would have done well if he won 3 rounds, bro. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, I think I gave him 2. If I'm not mistaken, off the top of the dome. He said, send that email again to Drew. I sent it again. I thought it went through, but I'll send it again right after the show. I got you. Yeah, but I would say, actually now thinking about it, Shane, that might be the only legit shot he got to get himself to the back half of the fight. And
because I'm thinking a high tempo fight, I understand where people are saying the most times Devin Haney's been in trouble has been when he's been under attack and he gets caught in those bang bang moments, and then all of a sudden he gets caught with a shot. But the problem with that is, in order for you to do that, you go through a barrage of attacks by Devin Haney. For one, this dude's feet ain't fast enough in transition to even do that, and for two, Devin Haney's just he's just so much better than Kambosos at boxing. It's almost a mismatch in this fight in terms of a boxing fight. And George Kambosos isn't Linares. He isn't.
Stop the press. Shane, stop the press. Stop the press. Let me dust off the red carpet. I gotta get my mans up in here. Strength and conditioning coach extraordinaire. Don't get it twisted. His clientele is deep. He's known for being a strength and conditioning coach for Jerron Boots Ennis. We got Mr. Rob Acosta in the building. What's going on, family?
What's up, bro? How are you?
Everything cool. Hey, listen, we got a whole bunch going on this weekend. Off top, before we even get started, let them know what you got going on this weekend, bro.
We got Malik Warren fighting on Scooter and Roman card.
That's in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Minnesota. And we was saying, Rob, we was saying that we feel like just it's a crime that it's not enough coverage for that particular card. We understand, like, we got Haney, Kambosos, that's unification, all that. We get that.
Yeah.
But we feel like Cool Boy and, you know, guys like Malik Warren kind of get left behind the newspaper a little bit, and we it's frustrating for us just as hardcore boxing fans to see that. How you feel about that, Rob?
As far as Malik not getting exposure,
Malik and Cool Boy,
The card.
just the card.
you know
Are
what?
you hearing echo, Jess?
Huh?
Yeah, I hear echo.
What'd you say?
Rob, do you have the live on in the background or on another on a phone or something?
Another live? No,
No, the same live. But like, so I'm hearing feedback.
no, not at all. No.
Hold on. You want them to come out and come back in?
No, it's cool. Continue speaking. Say what you're gonna say.
Go ahead,
It
Rob.
seems like it's fine now. It's fine now.
It seems like it's cool now. Yeah,
I
we
don't know.
good.
Maybe because the other phone was closer to that phone.
Possibly.
I don't know. All right. So what was your question, bro?
Do you feel like Cool Boy and guys like Cool Boy and Malik Warren and those guys, you feel like they get enough attention, or you feel like they kind of get left under the radar a little bit?
I mean, Scooter doesn't get left under the radar, I don't believe, but I know that in the city, in Philly, there's not really much support going on for anybody, really. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when J-Rock won a belt, no one said anything. When Scooter became unified, nobody said anything. When Gabe Rosado was the first guy in Philly to win a title in the bare knuckle boxing and BKB, I mean, you know what I mean? Nobody said nothing about it. So I mean, at the end of the day, Philly's just it's a different city. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people that get decent exposure and stuff like that, which is why a lot of people tend to leave the city and go somewhere else. You know, look at B-Hop, look at Danny, look at Gabe Rosado. They all left the city and they got more love outside the city than they own city.
Yeah, and it's for me, I'm like, it's frustrating. I actually had somebody that they're not from Philly, and they DM me and they was like, well, why does Philly not put on like an all Philly card that has Scooter on there, had Boots and this, that, and the third? And I'm like, bro, money wise, I'm like, they'll make more money at the Barclay or somewhere else than Philly, because it's that, like you said, Rob, like, we're loved by more people outside of Philly than actually inside of Philly.
People love Philly when they're not from Philly. And then people in Philly don't support much one another.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, you know, we got the Wells Fargo Center and we got the Leo course. So there could be opportunities for fights to happen there. But then at the end of the day, you can't put Scooter, J-Rock, Tevin Farmer, and all kinds of cards on the same guys when they all got different promoters, different management, different everything. Like it's just one big clash, man. I don't as much as I would love to see that happen, I don't think it'll ever happen.
I hear you. I was like bringing everything full circle. You're going into it. And in fact, I didn't even greet myself. So what's up, bro? I didn't even say what's up. How you doing? Going into this weekend's action of fights, like, how are you feeling when the position that you stand? Obviously, you're not obviously in Scooter's camp, but he's obviously training in the same gym. You've seen him a lot, and then obviously you got your fighter fighting this week also. So how do you feel within yourself about the weekend coming up and the prospects for your, I want to say, fighters?
I got a great feeling about everything, man. I love Scooter. You know what I mean? I love the team. fight, whoever's a part of his camp. I just like Scooter as a person. You know, I'm a fan of his as a fighter, but I like him a lot more as a person. You know what I mean? Like when you get to really know Scooter, he's like the same way he is in the ring, he's the same way outside the ring.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. And he's hilarious, he's fun to be around, you know. I like him and I will always support him no matter what. You know what I mean? But he should be Daniel Roman. He shouldn't have to, you know, be much of a concern with that, but Roman fight though. He could rumble, but I don't think Scooter, you know, should struggle as much as an outsider would say. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Malik, you know, we worked with Malik. We did his conditioning. You know, it was definitely a different sort of atmosphere of what he was used to, and he adjusted really well. He's been doing well sparring. He's been boxing some decent quality guys. So it's like he's in this fight. He's ready.
Hey, Rod. Actually, I'm glad he's in here because YSM just came in here. He said Rob Acosta for president. I second that. I second that. I remember YSM and I was in the gym, right? And this was the day I met you, and Scooter was in there, and we like, yo, we know that's not Scooter. We were behind him, and we was like, he fights at 122, and I'm like, he didn't have a fight lined up when we seen him, and he's like, you know, a stocky dude, like, and I'm like, I said, there's no way he gets down to 122. Like, and me and YSL, I'm like, yo, like, he is like chiseled, like for 120. You thinking 122, you thinking, you know, a little small dude or whatever. That's not him at all. Like, how impressed were you with Scooter? Just the physical specimen that he is as a guy that fights at 122.
I mean, I think Scooter's very strong. I mean, he's strong, he's fast, great endurance. He knows how to consume a lot of his energy in the ring when he's boxing. And the one thing I like about Scooter is that every sparring session he's working on something. He doesn't go in there and show too much. He doesn't show too little. He goes in there, he just works on shit. You know what I mean? And he does what he does. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but he is a big 122.
Mm-hmm.
He does make the weight fine. So, I mean, it's not like I don't condition Scooter. So it's not like, you know, I don't know much on the strength abilities on that side or a full aspect of the conditioning. But in reality, you know, from what I see on the outside, it looks fine.
How long you been working with Malik?
This is Malik's first full camp with me.
Yeah, but Malik's been in that gym for a while, though, right?
Yeah. It's just, you know, we had a couple of cards that he could have been potentially on, and then he didn't get put on and stuff like that. So it's very difficult for a fighter to get put on a card, and then you train for the card, and then you get removed from the card, or the card get canceled, or anything like that. So it's a lot of headache with that type of stuff. So, you know, even for a coach's standpoint, it can become very frustrating because you're like, you know, it's kind of like on a double Dutch sort of feeling. It's kind of like you jumping in, jumping out, jumping in, jumping out.
Right.
And that can up his complete pattern and momentum. So it can become very frustrating on everybody's end. But Malik has been coming to the gym for a while. He's been doing great. He's adjusting to our family really well. And we all love him, man. He's hilarious. He's a great fit.
I mean, the thing I look at when I look at that camp, and I mean, obviously, Philadelphia is a very, very intimate city in the sense that boxing it's almost, there's not a lot of elite gyms and elite trainers in that one city. You know, and I feel like the gym that you work in, obviously with Ballsy, is like probably the best gym in the city and probably the most respected. Now, how does it work when you got a dude like Boots, you got a dude like Scooter in the gym with their success and their potential? How is it when you work with dudes who are on the come up? Because it's very, it should be easy to motivate them, but is it easy to give and dedicate enough attention to these dudes? Because I guess their level isn't as high.
So are you asking like is there a challenge of showing attention to
Yeah, distributing attention and basically giving everybody the right amount of effort. Because someone like Boots, someone like Scooter, obviously I know you said you don't train Scooter per se, but you would obviously visibly see what goes on in that gym. How does the responsibility of training the younger dudes on the come up and the dudes who aren't as famous and as known, how is it about distributing time and responsibility to those fighters?
You know what? Honestly, bro, what's crazy is that gym is crazy special. So Scooter goes in, and of course, we all know that Scooter's a world champion. We know that. You know, we all know that Boots is future of the pound for pound welterweight division. We know that. We know that Christian Cardo is going to be, you know, a very, very, very well high ranked contender in the few fights to come. We know about Tamir. We know about Malik Warren and stuff like that. We know those. We know that on that level. But the crazy thing is, when they're in that gym, we see them as Tamir. We see them as Boots. We just see them as Scooter. We just see them as Malik. You know what I'm saying? So when we all train together, we all train like it's weird. It's hard to explain, man. It's kind of like there's no real uh any struggles of giving anybody attention. Like everybody get the work, everybody does the pass. That's why we got multiple coaches, bro. Like we got Greg Hackett in there, we got myself, we got L, we got Bo, we got Boots, we got numerous people. So it's like there I've been there on days where I would be in the ring giving pad work with L and Bo. They're doing one thing. Bo's doing another thing. L's doing one thing. I'm doing the pads. Greg on the outside doing pads, and we're all rotating all the way around. We just rotate. Like we're like, all right, how many rounds you do? Oh, he did 3 with me. He did 2 with you, and he did 1 with him. So all right, so he's gonna do 1 more round with him, and then he's gonna finish off with you, and then I'm gonna get him back. And then that's how we work.
There's a lot of talk right now. I think I'm hearing some feedback again. Yes, can you hear that?
I don't have anything else. You want me to try to get out and come back in?
No. 1 second. It's gone again. It's gone. It's fine. I don't know. It just keeps coming back and going. But what I will say is, right now, especially this week with what's going on with Bill Haney and Bill Haney not being present and Ben Davison not being present for Devin Haney, there's been a lot of talk around coaches and having one voice and who's the main coach and all of that stuff. What I want to ask you is, how is it when it comes to, and this is just generally speaking, how is it conducting a corner and almost making sure there's a level of hierarchy? How important is that when you have a head coach and understanding the responsibilities? Is it a case of there's one voice and one person giving instructions, or is it a case of this is my area, I'm only going to focus on my area? Because you kind of don't want it to be a case where you got this fighter in 4 or 5 different places when it comes to conducting a camp. How does it work when you're conducting a camp?
So, all right. So, of course, in every camp, you got your head coach. Then you got your second, and then you got anybody else who's affiliated with the team, right? But that doesn't mean that, like for me, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. That's what my main priority job is. That does not mean that I don't know how to do pads. I don't know how to strategize for opponents. I don't know how to do defense. I do all that stuff. So it's like if I'm needed, I'm going to be used. So there's been plenty of times where I came into the gym and we were 1 man short, and Bo will be like, yo, you want to do defense with them? And I'd be like, all right, let me go get my gloves. And I know the stuff. So it's not, and it's crazy too, because when we do it, it's like you still hear the one voice. But in this type of situation for Devin Haney, it is up to Team Haney to send the right, reliable people who he can feel is trustworthy to work that corner that will give the right instructions. So for a coach, it's very difficult for a coach to give bad instructions. It's more common to not know what type of instructions to give someone and now the fighters going out there fighting on their own experience.
That's a good point.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One coach who is solely focused on the fighter. So now, like, you got a guy like Bo, who's like the grandfather of everybody in their gym. So everybody what Bozy say. But then you got guys on the outside that is not just focused on the technique. They're looking at things overall. They're looking at how many times, you know, they shook their hand and maybe they possibly hurt their hand, or they're looking at the opponent, or they're looking at the guys who were sparring on the other side. You know, everybody has an input. And the beauty of it is, what type of chemistry does your team necessarily have that one call doesn't overstep the boundary of another? So, for an example, if I'm calling out, if Bo's there and he's like, you know, catch, and come right back, right back. It's not for me to sit there and say, just catch it and move out the way. That's contradicting what he said. You understand what I'm saying? But if I were to, if Bo were to scream out, you know, catch, come right back, I'm like, yo, come right back and then go to the body. That's going in flow of everything that was said.
Understood. I mean, I guess then, because I heard Devin Haney say himself, he spoke about the fact that, and I'm sorry to make it about Devin Haney, but I feel like we're never going to understand how important teamwork is without actually speaking to a proper coach. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he spoke about the finding the, what was the word he was talking about? The synchronicity, the teamwork. He spoke about how there was a question mark. George Kambosos was talking about them finding their feet together, and I can't remember the word he used, but I'll figure it out later in this chat. But either way, it's very important that you said that, because I feel like you brought up a very important point, which was having the one voice. And as you said, Bozy is that head voice. He is that head coach. He's the person. But I feel like it's also very, very important that Bozy doesn't have he's not a person he doesn't think he knows everything. So he's willing to take Greg's advice. He's willing to take your advice. There's many coaches who's just, it's my way or no way. And everybody else on the outside, whilst you guys can have your opinion, it doesn't have the value of mine. I was just summarizing what you were saying, and the importance of what you were saying.
In all reality, it doesn't happen like that in our spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm doing pads with somebody and Bo says, yo, you're not turning in the back foot. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously you're not turning in the back foot. I can't see it because I'm holding my hands like this.
Right.
So I can't see certain shots, but he can. You know what I mean? But in reality, Bo can walk around the ring and around the whole gym and give everyone advice, and people are going to listen. Like, there's just no bottom, there's no punchline to that. You know what I'm saying? So when you build a decent rapport with a lot of your coaches and a lot of your other fighters and everything, it's all about the chemistry. So now I don't know what happened.
That's the word I was looking for. Chemistry. Continue. Go ahead.
So there's other coaches in the gym who may not be on the same page, but that's on them. That's not what it is with us. That's what makes us so great. And I don't mean to sound arrogant. I don't mean to sound cocky or anything like that. But bottom line, we're the fucking best gym. There's nothing else to talk about. You know what I mean? We got the best work. People's training camp look like our regular days. We don't play in there. So when you get a wake up of the reality and you come in there and people walk in, the first thing they say is like, damn, y'all actually working here. Yeah, because we take it serious. You understand what I'm saying? But everybody's on the same page. Everybody flows together. You know, if one person's doing the bag, if Bo gotta leave, he's gonna say, Rob, make sure that he does his run. Make sure they do their sit-ups. All right, cool, no problem. You know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. And we're like that all with one another, which is why the chemistry is so strong with everyone there. You know what I mean? If anybody doesn't have a good day at the gym, which is often that can happen, it's not so much on anybody's end. It's just that's the shit that happens.
Of course,
coaching's aspect or nothing like that. It's just, you know, we a family. We're legitly ran on a solid foundation where everybody is technically on the same page when it comes to this boxing stuff. You know what I mean? Instructions, calls, codes, sparring, everybody's on the same page.
Coach, I got two questions for you. Number one, with Malik Warren, and it's more so of a general question. If a guy, so Malik Warren's fight is 6 rounds, right? 6 round fight.
Yeah.
So does the length of the camp, does it heighten up or down depending on the amount of rounds they have in terms of a fight, or does that generally stay the same? Like, how long was Malik's camp?
I mean, it was about 5 weeks because he was
About 5. Okay.
he was technically supposed to fight on a Tank and Rolly card,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
pull through. But prior to that, he was gonna get on one of the local cards, but that didn't fall through also. But that's something that's out of my position of on the business side. So
Right.
but for whether it's a 4 round, 6 round, 8, 12, 10, 12, you should have a significant amount of weeks to prepare for something like that. Obviously, you don't want to prepare for a 12-round fight in 4 weeks.
Correct.
Unless you already been in the gym and then you're a last minute replacement. You understand what I'm saying? You're like a standby or something like that. But
Right.
if you're getting ready for a 6 rounder, then that's a little different. However, on the conditioning side of where I can really speak on, if you're doing a 4 round fight, one condition, like 1 day a week is fine. If you're doing 6 round, somewhere between 1 and 2 days, roughly, depending on the type of person that they are. If you're doing 8, 10, and 12, then I suggest you do 2+ more days on the conditioning side. And that doesn't necessarily mean that there's 1 day of just conditioning and another day just conditioning. That could be as far as Monday through Friday. You're even doing muscle therapy, muscle rehabilitation, abs, push, doing neck exercises. All that is part of conditioning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So because all that's being intact, it doesn't matter. It's just certain days are more on a high level of intensity than others, if that makes any sense.
No, I hear you. And my second question is, I don't know if you remember this conversation, but I was talking with you and Coach L, and we were talking about the importance, the things necessary to have a really good corner. And I remember you was telling me every good corner has a guy that specifically is focused on the other fighter in the other corner. Can you get the people just elaborate on? I don't know if you remember that conversation, but can you elaborate on that?
So depending on what the circumstances are, I'm only going to speak on my behalf. That I don't know. I mean, L's one of the great coaches in the gym. He does focus a lot on the strategy. He does focus a lot on a lot of other things in the corner, and he does call out certain things. L has a great eye, actually. Like he doesn't just see our fighter. Like he sees everything, and he everything in decent observation. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that Bo isn't like that, because Bo is definitely like that. But Bo is like, he's so focused into the fighter where it's like, do this, do this, do this, do this. And his calls, when you execute them, they get done. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's pairs. So when you work in one with the other and you put them together, you got yourself a fantastic corner. You know what I'm saying? But then you got guys like, say, for an example, when I started first strength and conditioning, and I was working in the corners. So when I worked the corners, my job specifically was to watch the opponent, to check out that opponent's position. So then, like, they would come out and they do whatever they had to do, and I would see, I can try to diagnose where exactly that person feels the most uncomfortable at, where if they're, how many times they open their mouth, how many times when they were in the corner, how long did it take them to get to one corner to another, when they sat on the stool and the 10-second bell came up, how long it took them to get up, to how long they were breathing in the corner, how many times, like if you started off with both legs bent and then now one leg is bent, now both legs bent. Are they pulling your trunks? Are they pouring water down your trunks? Are they pouring water in your head? Like, this is all stuff that you got to pay attention to. So that's pay attention to that.
That's the exact conversation that we had at the gym, where you were talking about being focused on a guy in the corner and you can tell so much about a fighter, especially throughout the course of an 8-round, 10-round, 12-round fight, their mannerisms and things that they're doing in the corner. But that's really the difference between an okay corner and an elite corner. And I know Shane and I talk about this all the time. We feel like a lot of coaches, they be stealing checks. I'm not gonna lie, they be stealing paychecks. Like they'll get in the corner, their fighter get in the corner. You don't hear an ounce of technical advice or anything. Like it's almost like they're cheerleaders.
It's worse. It's worse when you got a good fighter. The reason why I say it's worse when you got a good fighter, because when you got a good fighter who's at elite level, he's gonna do the work for you. Like especially in a lot of Canelo fights, and I just have to be fair. Like I just see a dude who is really skilled, really talented, and he doesn't. His cornermen don't really have to give him advice. And then here came a fight where a cornerman had to give him advice, and they didn't know what to do because purely and simply they're not used to that. So I'm glad you brought that up, Jeff, because with someone like Boots, who is so gifted, like you need someone in a corner who's there, who can dictate a corner for when things not go wrong, but can spot certain things and actually say, because if a fighter is so skilled, is you rarely see them having to make in-game adjustments because they're so good. Am I making sense what I'm saying?
It does. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, a good corner consists of having a good chemistry, not just with the fighter, but just knowing where you are in the environment. You know what I mean? Like you're not distracted by so much and things of that sort. But you got a guy that has the experience, has been there for many years, has been in this stage for many years. They know how to react. They know how to do everything else. Then you have another person who never oversteps the head coach's boundaries. But then they, like I said earlier, they kind of add into everything else without contradicting one another. That's what makes a coach. So say for an example, let's just say for Danny Garcia's purposes when he fought Errol Spence. If he could have had more help in the corner that will help Angel and that will help other guys, and then be like, all right, yo, Danny, listen, the reason why you got to land this shot, you know what I mean? You got to land this shot, but you got to get him to do this. You got to get him to do that. Maybe his top is looking at Danny as that's my son. I don't want my son to get hurt. I don't want my son to lose. So at the end of the day, he's a father
That's a
first.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying? So he's a father first. So he's going to get blind by certain things. But then the second comes in and say, yo, listen, you got to start focusing on this shot. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to da-da-da-da-da and set the plans up. But it's not overstepping anybody's boundaries.
Yeah, it's a good point because a lot of people, just general people, also forget how emotionally invested coaches can be. Because yes, they're not taking the hits, but some coaches might look at, and I know it's condescending and it's wrong, but some coaches might look at a dude like, oh, this is my money. Or some dudes might be looking at, this is my son, or this is my limelight. This is the only fighter that I have. You see my point? So there's a certain level of protection where they're like, if things go wrong, I don't have another fighter. Or if things go wrong, this is my son. Or if things go wrong, maybe my money's being messed up. And coaches also have invested emotions into fights also. So yeah, that's a good point.
So, I mean, the only way that I can say is an equivalent of, I know, Shane, I know you don't have any kids, but do you have any nephews or nieces or anything like that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
All right. So you get kids to stay over your house. They're not yours, but you're protecting them.
Right.
You're like, yo, y'all gotta stop jumping on the bed. Yo, y'all can't go outside. Yo, what y'all doing outside playing? Or who's that person? Or whatever the case is. You're still protecting them. Right. But at this point, you're forgetting that you're actually the sitter. You're now becoming a protector. So that goes the same way as a corner. You know what I mean? No one wants their fighter to get hurt, bro. Nobody.
Right.
Nobody wants that on their hands. I remember, true story. I remember I was at the Blue Horizon, and it was like 2009-ish, somewhere around there. And my homie Tion Kennedy was fighting.
Shout out to Tion Kennedy.
Yeah, that's my guy. So Tion was fighting I can't remember his name, but his name was Francisco. He's from Detroit.
Okay.
And his father, they come from a line of decent fighters, and his father was working the corner, and they flew in from Detroit, and they were fighting at the Blue. The second in that corner was Benny Baez. Benny Baez was a pro fighter who also fought Pernell Whitaker. They were fighting, and I remember looking in that corner, and I saw the fight that he was going through, and he walked back, and I told the person who I was with, I said, something's wrong. That kid is hurt. Something's wrong. And he's like, how can you tell? And I'm trying to break it down of what I see personally and everything else. So little bit after the referee stops the fight, the kid goes back to the corner. He sits down. He collapses. The kid dies. He dies, bro. So you as his son.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's your son. You came to a fight with the mindset that you guys were going to fight, and you had the attitude of winning. You brought a corner with you, and that was the last time you saw him. So, yeah, it is a very large emotional connection to it. You think that, I forgot his name, but you think that people should give, I forgot the coach's name, shit for stopping Wilder's fight? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
Hold
on real quick, Shane. Hold on real quick.
Bad.
Hey, Rob, that was Francisco Rodriguez.
Yes, that's his name. Yep.
November 20th, 2009. November 20th, 2009. Died of brain injuries.
That's crazy, bro. To witness that in person, it's no joke, man.
Hey, Rob, I got another one for you. Remember when Emmanuel Augustus, he was fighting what's his name, Oliveira, and Augustus hit him kind of like right here.
Yeah,
it was like behind the ear, but he almost did like this shake thing.
Yeah,
and everybody was like real nervous, and they was like they were gonna stop the fight, but he was like he wanted to keep on going. Emmanuel Augustus, that was on Tuesday Night Fights. Emmanuel Augustus did not throw another headshot for the rest of the fight.
It's scary
because he knew something was wrong with him.
bro.
I've seen things like that as well.
What was the other one? Pichardo, oh my God, I can't remember his name, bro. But he was a Spanish kid. He was Puerto Rico. I think his name was Pichardo. But he's another one. Got hit in the back of the head multiple times. Now he's like he's almost, bro. He's messed up, man.
Like, I mean, why this is so significant is because we're in a world where if a coach throws in the towel, they get ridiculed. You know, you brought up the Wilder situation. I keep this coach's names.
Mark Breland.
Mark Breland. And then you look at the situation with Kenny Porter and Sean Porter. You know,
let's pump the brakes on that one. No, we're not gonna bring that. But go ahead.
Shane, hold on. Rob, now I know the reason why you say that. Tell the people you called it. Go ahead, Rob. You called it.
With what?
You called with Kenny.
I remember.
No, I know that, but my only I'll wait. Just remind me. I'll wait.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember Rob on a live, he actually did say this before the fight. He actually did say this. Kenny Porter's not going to want to see his son get stopped. I remember this so vividly, and I was listening to Rob thinking, bro, I didn't think you didn't know what you're talking about. I'm thinking maybe you're going a bit too far. I think Kenny Porter ain't going to do it. Guess what? He does exactly what Rob Acosta said.
It's crazy. Hold on, let me get in the comments real quick. I done neglected y'all. I'm sorry. Bruce said, "Bring back the Blue Horizon." Hey, bro, the thing that's crazy, they turning it into hotels, bro. A hotel. It hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the thing that's crazy, Rob. before I go to the next comment, I was actually working in the like the tax department, like for like real estate taxes and stuff like that for the city. When they were trying to get the Blue Horizon back, and they was like, because the story was like people didn't put no money into it.
Yeah,
it was that, but it was a lot more things going on within that building as far as like taxes and a lot of other things too, to where it just they never put everything together. It wasn't one of those situations you could just come with a bag of money and everything was going to be okay.
But this goes back to what I was saying about the city of Philadelphia, bro. Mm-hmm. You got guys that are not from here who are doing more shit for this city than people that are fucking from here. And I'm sorry, I have children on here, but excuse my language. But
don't care about that. Go ahead.
It makes me mad because you got Shane Victorino build the whole field, build the whole school for these kids.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? You got Michael Vick. There's a place in Hunting Park called the Michael Vick Field. He's not from here.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And then you got Bernard Hopkins, Will Smith, all these guys that could have saved Joe Frazier's gym, that they could have made it a monument. They could have saved the Blue Horizon, and they could have put their money together and turned it into something else. And it never happened.
I mean, Rob, what's so crazy is, sorry to cut you off, Jeff. What's so crazy is for us, and I'm speaking about from me who doesn't come from Philly. I don't even come from America. Philadelphia for us is like the home of boxing in America. I swear to God, like if you speak to anyone outside of America, they will say Philadelphia is where it's at. Like literally, we always have this idea that being in Philly is like, you got Las Vegas is the glitz and glamour, but Philadelphia is where the real work gets done. That's how I've always seen it my whole entire life. But this is when I realized there was a real problem. When I went over there in Philadelphia and I was like, you guys got some superstars in this country. And I mean, in this city, forget this country, in this city. And like, I just couldn't see how you guys weren't selling out, not even stadiums, but arenas in this city. And I was like,
wide open.
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you why, man. And it's a sad truth. And I'm sorry if I offend anybody from saying it, but there's too many crabs in a barrel.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I second that.
Instead of having each crab stack on top of each other to help each other get out, you got promoters who know these guys but don't know the lifestyle they're coming from. And what do? Philly versus Philly all the time. And instead of all joining together so that way we can do well, because in my opinion, I feel as though that Philadelphia has the best fighters in the country. The only reason why we don't get recognized for it is because we're really the victim to our own talent. And
that's a fact.
We got coaches that make bad decisions for the fighters. Why? Because they're either after the money or they're trying to live their past boxing life through the fighter. And then you got other situations where like the promoters really don't give a fuck about you, bro. They're paying you bullshit money, and it's like this guy makes a lot of money. He's from West, he's from North. They both bring a lot of heads. Let's put it together and make them fight. What's the point, bro? You make the city fight each other, and we already sparring one another, man.
Hey, Rob, let me add on to that because that's 100% truth. I'm not gonna mention a promoter name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
There's one promoter in the city that is all let's match up Philly versus Philly, and it really turns off a lot of people in Philly. And they'll spend more energy trying to put Philly versus Philly versus trying to actually build all of the Philly fighters together in their own separate lanes. And it's sad to see. And I'll go one more with you, Rob. I was at the Artur Beterbiev and Alexander Volstik fight that was at the Liacouras Center, right? And I'm like, why do they have it here in Philly? I'm like, why? I'm like, I don't think it's going to do anything. So that fight, that was the first day I met YSM. Me and him was at Beterbiev's meet and greet. So I met him for the first time. We both saying the same thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's going to do any numbers. Come to find out, Vasyl Lomachenko was there. Alexander Usyk is there. They're doing a meet and greet. Rob, when I tell you, no exaggeration, no cap, no lie. That line was around the arena. I'm talking through, the layout of Leah Course. It just goes around. That thing was there was a room, like, soon as you come into the door, like, as soon as you get past the metal detectors and all that, is like this room to the left.
Yeah.
And that's where they were going to be. That line was from there through the concessions, like through the back of the concessions. That's how long that line was.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting up here and I'm like, these are two, and no disrespect to you, Senor or Lomachenko, we got two guys that are not from this country. They come in for a meet and greet.
And they ain't even fighting.
They not even fighting, bro. There was more people in that line than it was for people watching the undercard fights of that card. And I'm like,
yeah, it's crazy, bro.
this is if I had to highlight the problem, I'm like, this is the problem. I'm like, Boots, he's not going to get a chance to sell out the Leah Chorus. It's not. He's not going to get a chance to sell out Wells Fargo Center when Danny was at his peak.
You know why that is, though, bro? It's because Philly's a city that, I'm trying to use the right term so that way I don't get kind of reprimanded, so to speak, in certain things. But okay, so when you're jocking another person, they call it a certain phrase here in Philadelphia that I can't say.
Right.
So when you see specific fighters in the city, it's like, oh man, why are you jocking that dude? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's support. If a person doesn't jock that fighter, they're a hater. But then when they're jocking that fighter, you a rider.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when the city has a foreigner to Philadelphia come to the city, everybody want to go crazy. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, people will go nuts if they saw certain NBA players. But if they saw AI, it's like, that's AI.
Facts.
Like, come on, bro.
That's true, bro. It's just a familiar face. It's never respected. Never respected.
Back to the point that I was saying earlier. Philly gets love from other outsiders looking in. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're a victim of our own poor attitude towards so many other things. And it's a shame. It shouldn't be that way. Now, I'm Philly made. I'm not from no suburbs and no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Born in Brooklyn. I was born on vacation. That's what I tell people. And then I moved into Philly when I was 3 months old. I was raised in Philly my whole life, bro. And I remember growing up, and when they had ciphers on the corner and everything else, it was always Franklin Street versus 7th Street. And it never changed, bro. But when you see the New York rap video, they got the whole hood behind them.
Facts.
It's crazy, bro.
Facts.
It's a lot of the residents here, a lot of the Philadelphians have a negative mindset, and it's like it's a one for all for one type of thing. Because in all honesty, we got some of the best lyricists, the best musicians, the best painters, the best workers. We got the best fighters, the best ball players. You name it, we got it.
And they always got to go outside the city to get compensated.
Outside the city, but when you go outside the city and you make it, he forgot about us.
Exactly.
Come on,
exactly.
bro.
It's with Philly is the weirdest. It's the weirdest city in the world, bro, man. Like, it's so weird, bro.
Back in the day, Philly was the place to go to when you wanted to find talent.
Facts. You know, rappers especially.
Bro. But it's still to me. Bro, let's look at the industry of boxing. It's still the place you want to go to find talent. I just feel like people don't respect it. Here you got a unified champion. Look at this week alone. You got a unified champion from Philly, and he's a person who embraces Philly as well. He hasn't left Philly to train somewhere else or anything. He's still in Philly training.
Yeah.
And I mean, this dude's still not getting the recognition that he should.
We
bro,
feel like Scooter gets
you know why?
forgotten.
It's a dumbass political city. You know what I'm saying? The city itself is not bad, regardless of the highest on the murder rates and everything else, and that's a whole nother topic. But
Right.
when it comes down to supporting one another, there's not enough that going on, and you don't ever notice it when you're young, when you in your teenagers, you in your early 20s,
When
and
you
shit.
get older.
So when you get older, you be like, damn, bro, like I didn't get no love for this. Then it becomes a light bulb when you see Ugas win the title. When you see Jerry Hurd win the title, and you like, they gave this boy the key to the city? What the fuck? And then you got real fighters over here, bro.
Bro,
And they don't do that.
they rob.
Only time, this is a football city.
Right.
This is the only time football, when the Eagles play, it's the only time when you got a KKK member and a Black Panther giving each other high fives because they just scored.
They just scored a touchdown. Thanks.
When that game is over,
It's on.
it's war.
It's on.
It's war.
It's on at that point.
I just wish it was the same way in every single sport. And it's not.
Yeah.
The problem is with a lot of Philly fighters and low poverty sort of situations is that a lot of people feed us bullshit. A lot of people feed us of what we can do, who we know, and da-da-da-da. So when those empty promises don't get fulfilled, we look at it as like, man, he just talking shit.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Hey, Rob, and you know the thing is crazy, Rob? This has been going on for so long. I literally had I had my guy in Iowa. I was talking to him, and he's like he wanted to come to the city and all of that. And he's not really hip to the history of like Philly boxing. So he was under the assumption that like B-Hop was getting like mad home games. I was like, hell no. I was just like, hell no. He's like, wait a minute. B-Hop wasn't fighting in Philly? I said, bro, when it came down to boxing, I said his hometown was Atlantic City. The casinos, that's where it was at. They refused to put a B-Hop fight here because they were going to make more money out in AC because they wasn't going to come see him.
When the Blue Horizon fell, everything fell.
Facts.
That's it, bro.
Facts.
Man, you know what
They
I'm
had
saying?
amateurs. They had amateurs come to the Blue Horizon and work.
Bro, I remember my first fight. My father took me to my first pro fight. I never forget it. We bought these in the Blue Horizon.
We got the same story. Go ahead, Rob.
Buy this brochure, and it came with a magazine of everybody that was fighting in it. In the magazine, it showed the actual fight card. But with the fight card, it actually had 9-10 round empty spaces where you can judge the round as it went.
Yes.
And you didn't, it's not like you submitted the shit and can confuse somebody else. No. Like that was part of the world. It was like no trouble, bro. You know what I mean? Best seats were the top deck seats because you saw the whole ring. And we don't no more, bro.
That's the best seats in the world. Those are the best seats in the world, bro.
It's a shame because guys like Scooter, who people don't know that Scooter does do a lot, bro. Like, you know how many times kids came onto that gym and they saw who Scooter was and they get starstruck, and then Scooter just shows them love out of just because he's a good person. Bro,
Right.
Today, let me explain something to you, bro. Today, Boots went to go talk to some kids.
Mm-hmm.
They loved it. To the point that Boots started signing kids' skin, like autograph their arm, their forehead, sneakers, shirts. Like it's crazy how he showed up to his own city with the police that trying to develop that bridge the gap feel to talk to the youth, and not one time that shit was anywhere. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That shit ain't cool.
That's a problem. That's a problem. That is a problem.
Let it be a shooting in around the corner at a gas station, or let the gas price go up 10 more cents. You're gonna see that shit all over the damn place. Wow, man, that shit ain't cool. But it is.
Hold on. What was your first fight? What was your first fight at the Blue Horizon? I'll tell you mine.
I was so young. I wish I can tell you.
My uncle took, and Shane know this story because I told it to him before. My uncle, so we grew up off of 29th and Girard Avenue.
Oh, okay. So you weren't far.
Yeah, I wasn't far at all. We was so we was on 29th and Master. So I grew up on Corley Street. So that's Corley Street, Hollywood,
Yeah.
Myrtlewood, all that. So my uncle, I think I might have been about 8, something like that, took me to Blue Horizon. The first person I ever seen at Blue Horizon, Charles Brewer was the main event.
That's funny.
Charles Brewer Sr. was the main event. So it's weird as hell. And I'm like, damn, I'm old. I'm seeing his son putting in work. You know what I'm saying? And one of my favorite like action fights is Charles Brewer Sr. and Antoine Eccles. That's one of my favorite,
You
like
talk
one of my
about that
favorite
fight
fights.
all the time.
Bro, anybody that hasn't seen that fight, like, that's like violence to like the utmost. Like
You might want to run
Charles
through those
Brewer.
comments.
Oh yeah, let me run through these comments real quick.
So somebody's got
YSM,
comments for Rob as well. So that's how I was saying
okay.
it.
YSM said Fulton versus MJ, Boots versus Crowley should sell out Wells Fargo, but not likely. I agree. Andre Southgate here, listening, good talk. Salute to y'all. Salute to you, bro. Let's see. Sir Ant says salute G5 in the chat. Big shout out to you, family. Sir Ant said good point. Number one Packers gamer, 100. Bruce, he said, I don't know what that is. Bruce said Philly is the Mecca. He said Philly is the Mecca. Yeah, facts. Will Stokes, he said, yo, Rob, much respect. I'm 19 years old, who's trying to get my amateur career properly going. I was speaking to Jeff, asking if I'd be able to ask you some basic questions. Let me know if that works.
Yeah, go
He's
ahead.
in the UK, right? Shane?
No, Will's in Canada.
He's in
He's
Canada.
from the UK. His family moved like 2 years ago.
Ask whatever questions, bro. I'm open. If I'm not gonna answer, I'm gonna just tell you straight up, I'm not answering that.
The thing that's crazy, just and Rob, we really appreciate you being on here, but we enjoy talking to the coaches more than the darn fighters. Like to keep it real. Like
I'll tell you why. For me,
I got somebody
prefer,
that told me that too, man. They good friend of mine.
you just get more real shit. Like
I mean, me personally, like what I like talking to the brains behind the outfit. You see my point? Like a lot of fighters, unless they're at a certain level of maturity and intelligence, they're just gonna talk about things from an emotional point of view. And I understand that's entertaining, and I guess most media people, they love that. They love to chop up the entertaining part of things, and they can get clicks and stuff like that. I hear that. But for me, I actually want to learn. Like, I'm not gonna learn from a fighter just dogging another fighter. I get it. You're trying to tell the fight it's cool.
So Shane, man, a friend of mine once told me that same thing that what you two are saying. They rather hear the coach's voice rather than the fighter, because the fighter always has to remain professional at all times. Right. You know what I'm saying? They will always answer things on a level where it's somewhat of a bias, but very cautious of how they say things, to where you got a guy who can break things down and make a person that doesn't know nothing about boxing and quite understand it. You know what I'm saying? And Greg is great for that. So, you got other people that can put things in perspective that'll make you understand certain things by using different analogies. You know what I'm saying? So it's always great to talk to the coach. But sometimes you got coaches too who are very emotional with it too. And sometimes it's always great to learn from everybody. But, just take it with a grain of salt with everyone and just learn as much as you can learn from everybody.
No, that's a fact. That's 100% facts. Hold on. I just got a message on my phone. Padman McGriff is actually watching the podcast, man. He out there with Devin Haney out there in Australia.
Oh, he over there?
Yeah,
good luck to y'all, man. Good luck to y'all. Seriously.
He said big shout out. He said big shout out to you, Rob. And he said great show. So you're doing great work, man.
Listen, man. Hey, bro. My man, Leon always tells me good things about the whole camp and everybody else over there, man. That's my guy right there. So I'll be
Yeah.
tuning in. I'm gonna watch y'all from the airport, and I love Devin Haney, man. I would love to go work with Devin Haney. I really,
What
really would.
what would you say? Like, would you say he would have to look out for? In fact, both fighters, because you're a boxing man. What would you say both fighters have to look out for? Each other and make a prediction on how you think the fight's going.
So Haney to me he's so skilled, right? He's very, very smart. He knows the one thing that I can say, he knows how to make great adjustments in the middle of the ring. This is where I'm gonna say it's gonna really show Devin Haney's talent. Now, this is why I say that. Any of you can tell me how many world champions came out of Australia?
Recently or in general?
In general.
I mean, off the dome, I can think of. I can think of maybe 4.
Four.
It's not a lot.
That's not a lot, right?
No.
Now, what can you say with anybody that's recent?
Obviously you got Jeff Horns, Rafa, Zoo,
It's a contender.
Lucas Brown. They're
It's
they're
not
very
many.
limited.
Not many.
Yeah, limited.
So, how loud do you think that motherfucking place is gonna be?
Well,
Yeah, it's gonna,
Loud.
yeah, it's gonna
So,
be
Right.
loud.
explain something to you, cause like on some serious shit, it's gonna be so loud in there that neither fighters might be able to hear their corner. So it's now gonna be up to the fighter himself to like, yo, I'm gonna make these adjustments. And I really think Haney got the talent, he got the IQ to really do his thing. Now, the only thing about Kambosos is that he knows he's in his city. He knows that people are watching. So he's gonna try to be cautious, but also try to be dominant. But if Haney can establish the right game plan, he's gonna make this shit look easy.
I see it the same way. And Rob, you want to give you a recent example of what you just said. Josh Taylor was levels and levels above, going into the fight, levels and levels above Catterall. But there hasn't been a world title fight in Scotland for years, and this is an undisputed Scottish champion.
Yeah,
Bro, the arena was screaming, bro,
bro.
literally screaming. It was off the rails.
So is YSM, if YSM is still on here, he'll attest to this. So I was supposed to go to the Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor fight, right? But I had some other engagements and I didn't go. So I was incredibly angry that I didn't go, because not just because of the action pack that it was there, but from what I was told, the experience there was so unreal. It was like an enigma, right? To where it's like, think about it. You watch the fight, but now you're watching on the fan standpoint. So you're watching the Writers' Rumble and all that other shit. People are forgetting that there was a few rounds that the fight kept going after the bell.
Yeah.
How loud it was in there that they didn't hear the bell.
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy. So how do
Yeah,
you
that's actually a good point. That's
so
actually a good
what's
point.
gonna happen with Kambosos, bro? I got Haney. I'm a big fan of Haney. I really like Haney. I didn't know much about him in his earlier careers, and then as he started to develop everything else, I know a lot of people that know him. I like the kid. I'm not saying that I don't like Kambosos. I'm not saying that. I think Kambosos had a great plan against Lopez. I think he did a fantastic job against Lopez. But if I can really put my money on anything or take anybody's side, I'm gonna go with Haney.
That's actually a really nobody brought that up, but that's a really good point, because now I'm thinking about it. Even me, I've flown. Like when I went to Russia, I was there, and there was a time where the noise was so loud, I literally couldn't hear the fighters couldn't hear the bell, and
Oh,
the fight kept going on for like 30 seconds after the bell.
keeping it a bean, like being in so amateur fights when it's like when you got amateurs fighting a certain amateur from the city, and we like, yo, this fight gonna be all that. And you go to that city and you hear the whole place go crazy. You know how many amateurs I had when they came back to the corner and they be like, yo, I can't hear you. Listen, bro, this is where you shine. This is where you are going to be the one saying, all right, now my job is to, now I can't scream no more because I'm going to lose my goddamn voice. So I'm just going to sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to hope that he does the right thing, call certain critical shots. Then when it's over, you come to the corner. Yo, listen, you can't do that type of shit. You can't sit there and bang with this dude. Stop getting on the ropes. Try to pivot it out. Try to switch out of there. Try to shift. You know what I'm saying? Certain shit like that. Then when the bell rings, you can't hear shit.
Bro, hey, Rob, that's the realest shit you done said on this show, bro. When I say
no, I can't
nobody,
say that. He said some real stuff, bro. I remember when he was talking about Wilder and the bench press as well. He said some real stuff on this show.
That was last show, Shane. I'm talking about this show. This the realest shit he done said. Like nobody's brought that up. And you hear about that all the time, of course, mostly in football, you know, where it's so loud they literally have hand signals and things like that.
Yeah.
But in a boxing match, I haven't had anybody really say that, but when you actually think about it, it's a great point. Like it's a great point. So you have to trust that your fighter is kind of seeing things the way coach is seeing it.
Exactly.
You know, that's crazy. Hey, you know what, Rob? I got a couple rapid fires before I let you go, man, because I know you gotta get up out of here tomorrow.
I know. I mean,
all right. You good? You cooking?
Just go ahead and talk. Like,
all right, let's go.
Go run, but it's raining, so.
Will did say though, did you want him to ask the questions here or drop it on Instagram?
No, just go ahead, ask away, bro. I got time. If I go run, it'll probably be like 9 o'clock anyway when the temperature's down, and I can go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I know we and you know this is what I wanted to ask you, Rob. So the Canelo Bivol fight. We was like outside of the judges, me and Shane was like, there's no way on God's green Canelo wins this fight. And we didn't understand why he took the fight. We thought it was a horrible style matchup going into the fight. You looking at that fight, like when you first heard that the fight was announced, like, did you think it was a bad style matchup for Canelo? We damn sure did.
No.
Really?
No, I honestly didn't. I didn't think Bivol's going to come out and fight the way that he did. But this is what I want to say for anybody that's watching. Stop hating on fucking Canelo because he went into a weight class and lost. He did shit that other fighters don't want to do. He stepped up. Remember, he started at 147 pounds and moved his way up. Now, when Roy did it from middleweight and fought all the way up heavyweight and became champion, he did what he had to do. You understand what I'm saying? When Usyk fought every single person that was available in that weight class, everybody that was in that weight division, he fought. So he ain't had no choice but to move on. Yeah, Usyk gonna move on. So what happens if he fight Wilder and he get clipped by Wilder? He's not supposed to be in that weight. He did what most people would do. Now, stylistically, I think that Canelo was used to fighting guys the way that he fought guys and try to go into this fight as if he fought other guys.
Right. I feel what you're saying.
Arms. He thought he can beat the arms. He thought he can do all his crazy shit and feed him into it. And Bivol's like, nah, baby. Nah,
not
you
today.
bro. Like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And I think, and also, it's not so much of a weight issue per se, because I did say that. I remember I did an interview with YSM, and I said it could have been weight. But in all reality, what I meant to try to break down, it's not so much of the weight issue because he fought Kovalev around the same. Right? But him moving up and Kovalev being on his kind of way out is kind of there. It's there. You know what I'm saying? But then when you got a guy like Canelo that moved up in weight against a younger guy, or I'm gonna say younger in the field than him, and he goes out there and does what he's supposed to do. All right, you know what I'm saying? No one thought that Canelo was gonna lose. I actually thought Caleb Plant had a great shot at beating Canelo, but shit happens. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it was so much of a stylistic issue. I just think that he could have went into that fight with a better game plan and prepared himself a little bit better for a guy like him.
Yeah, I didn't. I think Canelo looks small at 175. I really wish he just stay at 68.
Yeah, but then saying that shit when he beat Kovalov either.
Well, me personally, I didn't even though he fought Kovalev and beat Kovalev, I felt like 75 was just too much for him. I understood why he did it.
That's true. That's 100% fact. So look, listen. Danny Garcia started off his career. He's at 140, dominated 140, and he was the fucking man at 140. Went up to 47 and only beat guys that are not naturally 147, and then lost to or struggled with guys that were naturally 47. Besides Lamont Peterson, who was also at 140 at one point.
And Lamont gained 25 pounds.
Yeah.
In between the weigh-in and the fight.
You got Danny moving up to 54, possibly fighting Jose Benavidez.
Correct.
He's going to smash fucking Benavidez. He's going to destroy that kid. He hasn't fought, and I think his last fight was against Terrence Crawford. Danny's going to beat the shit out of that bull. And then when he's done, people are going to be like, oh, see, Danny's back. See, Danny's at 154. But what's going to happen if Danny run into a Jarrett Hurd? And then he loses? We're going to run into the same type of conversation that Canelo did when he fought Bevlov and as he did with Kovalov. Same exact shit.
Yeah, it's a cold world. I tell people all the time, I say it's a cold world for a fighter. It's a cold world, bro.
Shit, that's bottom line. You know,
boxing fans,
they just don't know shit, and they just look at it from the outside looking in. I don't care.
Yo,
I don't care what you got.
Yo.
But at the end of the day, I don't like that because some of these fighters, they love to critique, but would never jump in the ring and get punched in their fucking face.
Yeah.
No, none of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not
going to sit there and listen to some of these guys critique fighters or critique coaches like they can go in there and do a better job.
And the thing about it, bro, is I'm like, even in the line of work that we're in, I'm like, you got to come in the door. Number one, you got to wipe your feet when you walk in the door. You know what I'm saying? Wipe your feet.
Just respect
and defer. You defer to the coaches. You defer to the people that know what they talking about. And then you sprinkle your 1-2 in. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have enough of that. You don't have enough of that just in the sport, period. Like in the sport, period. Like I don't even like calling fighters like bums and stuff like that. I don't like it because I'm like, they would whip anybody, any non-boxer in the city ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole different level.
True shit. So I after Boots fight and all that, I ran into Earl Spence. And of course, him and I just started talking shit to each other about what's gonna happen and everything else. But the one thing that I did say, I shook his hand and I told him, all jokes aside, I want to tell you something. I'm dead serious. I was like, I'm being serious at this point. So he looked me in my eyes and I said, I'm glad you recovered from that accident. And I'm glad your eye is at 100%. I was like, I would never come at you on something that has to do with your personal life. I would never come at you on something that has to do with your resume, with anything assassinating your character in any way. You know what I mean? I said, I just want you to know that. So the shit that I am going to say is only related to the fight.
Right, yeah, competition.
I'm going to never step outside that circle. And he said he knows that. He understood that. So I shook his hand. I brought it in. And then I said, we're going to fuck you up. But that's me being on the comic side. Like, if you know, anybody will tell you that know me, I will be dead serious with you, talk with you.
Can I ask a question?
I'm going to just throw a joke in there because I'm an asshole. Like, fuck. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm kind of choppy right now in terms of the signal, so I might ask it in a second. But what I was going to say was, what do you guys think of the rap comments from Kambosos towards Devin Haney? What do you think about that?
Say it again.
He said
You
the rat
spoke.
comments.
You spoke about the fact that you're gonna keep it 100.
So,
What do you
listen,
think about that?
I'm not trying to hear that. First of all, I don't know how accurate that shit is. It's just hearsay. Okay, that's what they saying. Hearsay. So for real, Kambosos could be saying that Devin Haney gave him information about Lopez's camp, but you can't sit there and criticize Haney and not call him and basically defamate his character about going against another countryman when Kambosos was sparring Pacquiao for him to get ready for Jeff Horn.
Jeff Horn. That's exactly what Padman McGriff said.
Listen, I hope Haney goes over there and does his damn thing and brings them bitches home, so that way we can sit there and really celebrate on some real shit. You know what I mean? I don't like that stuff.
I mean, the craziest thing is, what's it called? The craziest thing, America's not even a country that's unified like that. A city might be, but you guys go against each other. I rarely see unity in the country.
That's cool, but let it be in their own country, bro. Okay, let me ask you this, right? Right, Shane? Who's your favorite soccer team?
Manchester United.
Okay, if someone with you the same soccer, they like the same team, and they talk about one of the players or the team playing shitty that day, how are you gonna feel about that? But that's their favorite team too.
I'm gonna feel shitty also.
Huh?
I'm gonna feel shitty also.
Right. Now, what you gonna do if a person that does not like the team, they like another team that's your rival, and then they're talking shit? What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna talk shit back.
There you go.
Exactly.
You see my point here? So it's like, it's okay for us to talk shit to each other because we're from the same home. Don't talk shit about my home and you're not from that home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But Padman McGriff said the same exact thing, man. He said the same exact thing. He was just like, yo, like you help Pacquiao get ready for Horn.
Yeah, get the fuck.
That's your countryman.
Man, I'm not trying to hear that, man.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
They're making it happen, and I'm glad that Haney got a nice little corner behind him and all that. I hope he brings that belt home. That's all.
Yeah, and we was trying to explain to people like that Haney got, of course, Bill Haney not being there. Of course, it's a factor in a sense because he's used to having his dad with him. That's like if Boots had a fight and Bosey wasn't with him on a particular fight, like it's gonna be an adjustment. Yeah. He's gonna be okay, but it's gonna be an adjustment. He's used to having his dad there. But I'm like, Haney got so many OGs with him right now that we be trying to tell people like, yo, like he's good, like he's solid.
Isn't McGriff the same one that helped him in the amateurs?
McGriff, he didn't help him in the amateurs, but McGriff was actually with Teofimo when Teofimo was like 16.
Isn't McGriff from Philly?
No, McGriff is from out in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
McGriff is from out in Vegas.
Those coaches are from Philly though. Well, one somebody that's part of his team or something like that.
I forgot his name. I know who you're talking about though. It is somebody from Philly out there with him. And he got Padman McGriff out there. He got Yoel Judah. Yoel Judah's out there with him.
Okay.
Couple other guys he got Crazy Ass Church out there with him. So he good. You know what I'm saying? But he's so I just think Haney's so much better than Kambosos on every single level. I mean, we talking just talent, just pure talent. He's so much better than Kambosos. Like it's really, he just can't get outside of his game plan because he's on the road. Actually, do you think Devin Haney is going to be pressing a little bit because he don't want it to get to the judges because he's on the road? I'm
gonna look at it as the way that Earl Spence when he fought Kell Brook.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. Sorry, Shane. I didn't mean to bring that shit up. My bad.
I don't really care. I actually thought you was picking
up. I just made a point about an outsider talking shit about an insider. My bad.
I was picking Errol Spence to win that fight anyway, so you're cool.
All right, cool. But you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I just hope that they come up with the right game plan and you know it goes in their favor. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? My man Rob got a question.
Will's
What I
got a
say,
question.
Rob? Yeah, I'm sorry,
Mm.
Will. He said, "Hey, Rob, thank you so much." So my main question I've really been wanting to ask is regarding my weight. So I fall in that awkward point in between light heavyweight and 200 pounds. He said I walk around at like 185, 190, but I'm 6'4", so I'm actually pretty skinny at the weight, and I lack a lot of physical strength. How old is Will? Like, how old is Will?
I
What is
think
he like?
19 or 20.
19. He's 19. I'm assuming another question is coming. There's not an actual question in there.
No, but I
Um,
think I can get a gist of what he's saying.
I have no idea what he's talking about because he said it
yeah,
was 200 pounds, but he walks around
around at
185.
185, 190. Yeah, it don't make sense.
I don't understand. If he
No,
can,
no, what he's saying, is the cruiserweight limit is 200 pounds.
yeah,
The light heavyweight limit is 175. So he's not big enough for cruiserweight, but he's too big for light heavyweight. You see
He
my
walks
point?
around at 85, 90, but he should be able to get down to 75.
he should be able to get down. Well, it depends how his body is. If his build is really skinny, like on some Fandora shit, then I wouldn't recommend him to go down too low. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if he lacks in physical strength, that probably means that he's going too low and he's losing his physical strength going too low. So if he's 6'4", 200 pounds is pretty solid. So what I would do is I would try to gain that 15 pounds and replace the body fat with muscle, and muscle up strong enough where he can still be elusive, and then be a solid 200 where he looks a lot bigger, but he's actually 200. I would that would be a better decision.
I would probably give him this, even though I know nothing about strength and conditioning at Rob's level, but I would probably give him the same advice because I feel like if you're already skinny and you're lacking physical
You don't
strength,
want to
there's
get
no way
skinnier.
Yeah,
you don't want to go down to 175.
You know, and I would suggest for him to be at 6'4", 200 pounds. That's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was actually his question.
And he's 19 years old as well. So
Yeah. He said,
to bulk up to 200 so I can get some strength. Well, I don't know if you were listening, bro, but if you were, then that would be my best suggestion. I would go from 185 to 200 and gain some nice muscle mass, but reduce the amount of body fat percentage that your body has. So that way you can feel solid all the way around, but you don't want to bulk too much because then you're gonna not feel elusive. You're gonna be all bulky and be throwing like John Pascal and shit.
he said, I'm also getting bigger as I get older. Like when I was 16, I was like 155, and now I'm 19, and I'm naturally going up to 185. So
yeah, I mean,
Rob
19
advice.
at 185 pounds. I mean, that is pretty big. And he's 6'4". You got like 2 more years of growth or 3 more years of height growth anyway.
Thing though, at 19, he's probably already reached his highest point in height. So he's not going to get any taller. But his body will start to fill in. The more of a muscular man strength is what we call it.
Yes.
He's going to develop. So I would try to get a head start and go up to 200
right now.
Yeah.
And you know the thing that's crazy, Rob, and it's crazy you said that because we was talking to Mushin. We was talking to Mushin, and Mushin was like, he was like kind of like in between like the cruiserweight, but he's a little too small for the heavyweight. So I definitely understood where Will was coming from. Actually, Tree James had that same issue, but he actually went down to 175. I've
always thought that every weight class division is 7 pounds either way. And then you go from 7 pounds to 25 pounds. I think that's just crazy. Like the difference between 160, 168, 8 pounds, 154, 147, 7 pounds. And then you go from 175 to 200 pounds. It's just crazy to me.
So I'll leave it alone before we get to the next, several, because I want to answer as many people's comments as I could. So I'll make it quick, but let's just say you weigh 180. You know you weigh 180. You fluctuate between 179, 183 on a regular, right? And one day you're celebrating at a barbecue and you eating like a motherfucker, right? You eating heavy and you know you put on weight. You probably actually only put on about 3 pounds. The next weight class up is 7 pounds, 8 pounds, 10 pounds. How you think that shit feels? Gain up all the way. Imagine eating enough where you're gaining 10 pounds. You know how uncomfortable you're gonna feel? You feel uncomfortable. You're already unbuttoning your jeans when you get in certain points, and then you're leaning back like.
But then, people, you rarely, and I mean, what you're saying is a good point. You rarely see people move up unless they're struggling to make weight and their rehydration is being affected.
In other words, for Virgil Ortiz's aspect, Virgil Ortiz is way bigger than Castano. He should be at 154 pounds. Now, condition that he was in comes from rehydration over exertion of training, not proper diet, bad cutting the weight. That's all comes into factor, bro. But
How do you cut weight, by the way?
That's exactly what I mean. But when I tell people strength and conditioning is not really as respected and honored, and that's my job to try to change that era, because most coaches only know what worked for them or what their experience worked. But then they tell them stupid shit. Like they'll say, oh, just eat a salad or just do this. No. There's so much more science behind it that you got to be very cautious on how you do it.
I mean, there's another comment, but we're going to get to that in a second. You're in a camp where I look at the two main dudes in that gym, Scooter and Boots. Both of those dudes, I can visibly see walk at a weight higher than their actual weight class. They're just very, very physically strong individuals. Without giving away the money game plan, how do you cut weight and rehydrate healthily? And when does it become a danger? Like, when is it dangerous? Like, you start seeing the rehydration and cutting weight a bit dangerous.
So it'll become a problem when we reach a certain amount of, if it were to happen, if we were to reach a certain amount of weeks and you're not at the weight you're supposed to be. So then that has to get weeded out now. Is it the diet? Is it the sleep? Is it the water intake? Is it the levels that you're training at? Are you sweating enough? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when it becomes to a point that you're decreasing in your performance because of the weight loss, that's something that has to get brought to an attention, and then that's when further decisions need to be made.
I've seen, like, I'll give you an example, Anthony Yard. Like, when he's on the scales, he literally looks shredded. Like, I don't know how he does. Like, there's literally, his body is just sucked of all life. And then in 24 hours time, this dude is pumped back up to this big muscular frame. How is that possible?
Levels of sodium and rehydration, water. Obviously, listen, bro, you know how much you have to eat to gain weight? It's a lot. It's people just think that you can just eat a bunch of shit and then you gaining all this weight. That's not how it works. You understand what I'm saying? You have to eat more than what you burn. That's where it comes down to. But your body, like if you cut down to a certain, like what you said with Yard, he can cut down all that weight, eat a whole pint of ice cream, and not even gain an ounce because his body is just gonna absorb it immediately. You understand what I'm saying? So for guys like that, you just gotta be it. The rehydration part of conditioning is so paramount. It's so important because any wrong move, any wrong thing you intake, whether it's by beverage or by solids, can really make you lethargic, and then now you're fucked up and you have no idea what's going on at the fight.
I mean, I wish you could tell me. I know you can't because obviously it's what you do for a living. But I wish you could actually tell me the art of rehydration, because it's probably my biggest fascination when it comes to coaching. Because I can break down technicals when it comes to boxing, pad work, footwork, different transitional training. The one part I actually don't know about is because there is an art to rehydrate. There's literally an art to do it. I don't know how that works, and obviously you can't tell me because that's what you do for a living. But yeah,
He had to kill you.
No, but
had to kill you.
At the day, bro, anything that we do is the art behind it. That's it. It's bottom line. You know what I'm saying? I don't train people and say, okay, give me 5 of those. No, that's not the way it works. Like art, your conditioning camp is already planned out prior to day one. I know what I'm doing from day one all the way to the final weigh-in day.
Right.
But that's
let me get in these comments real quick, Rob. Will said that, okay, this is interesting. So my question though is, how do I put on mass without losing my attributes? Like my brother followed a bodybuilder regimen and gained a ton of muscle, but it wasn't functional.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, definitely. He said, so I wanted to make sure it's functional, so don't lose attributes. I have pretty good feet for my size as well, so I didn't want to lose my movement. Will, it sounds like you need to come to the Boozy gym. That's what it sounds like.
You know what, Will? In all honesty, bro, to really break stuff down to you, it's gonna take a little bit, and obviously you got a lot more questions that I wouldn't want to take away from other people's comments. So what I want you to do is try to reach out to me on Instagram, and I'm more than happy to help you out as much as I can. You can follow me. I am Alchemy_TSW. Just reach out to me. Ask me as many questions as you can, and I'll do the best of my ability answering it. That I'm doing it at a less costly.
Hold on. He won our fantasy league. He got some money coming over his way. He about to get $550. So he good.
I mean, Rob, I know you sell shakes, so at least he can buy at least a shake from you or something.
All honesty, bro, I just like to help people, man. I love to communicate with the public. I love going into and talking about this shit. I could do this shit forever. You know what I mean? But in reality, if that's what you want to do, bro, just hit me up and then I'll talk.
I got you. I sent it to him. Hold on, Padman text me. He said he wants you to know, Rob. He said he coming to see you. He said he coming to Philly to come see you. He said he is from Pittsburgh. He said, but he boxed in Vegas under Tyrone Boone.
I told you.
Yeah.
PA.
And I forgot he said he was from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I thought it was Philly, but I knew I wasn't mistaken. All right, yo, shout out, bro. PA.
Yeah.
He's a Steelers fan.
He's dead serious about coming to. I talked to him.
No, all he gotta do is just come through, man. I'll show everybody. You know what it's like.
I know. I came to Philadelphia, and the first person I saw, even before I saw YSM, was Rob.
I love that bitch, bro. I'm for real, bro.
I was standing on the corner thinking, I ain't even gonna know. I don't know where this dude is. I just see Rob walk out the gym. I'm like, oh, there's a Rob. At least I know there's a friendly face I can see.
Yeah.
And the first day I was in Philly.
That shit every day. I dedicate my time 100% every time.
Yeah, it's crazy because I call Padman the West Coast Boozy. Like when I say they got the same personality, yo, like it is like insane.
If he's listening, bro, I'm trying to schedule a visit where I'm gonna go out there in end of July, maybe beginning August. And I'm set to go out there I'm gonna talk to Larry. I'm gonna talk to Devin, the other coach that's there, part of Larry's squad. I was gonna try to check out Salah's gym. And talk to the Haney camp and everybody else. I'm gonna be very useful the whole period.
He's actually originally at the Mayweather camp. So if you speak to Padman,
I'm gonna talk to these guys. Hopefully I can just develop a decent rapport, man. Look, bro.
Oh no, we gonna line that up. We gonna.
That's what I was gonna say.
love what I do, bro. I'm very passionate at what I do, and I don't think you quite guys understand. Like, I get so passionate about this shit that it makes me emotional because I really care about what I do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
People don't know my life story, and I don't expect them to.
Right.
I don't even expect them to care for real, for real. But at the end of the day, no matter what happens to me outside of that gym, you can catch my ass in that gym every day, giving everybody 100% every time. I'll never give you 99.
That's a
So
fact.
I take that shit serious, man. So it's like if I can go, if I'm going to Miami, I'm gonna go to Vegas. I'm going everywhere. I'm putting all these strength coaches that don't get the respect and all that other shit on the map, bro. It's just a whole new.
Bro, you know the thing that's crazy, Rob. So we did an article on Padman, right? And this is kind of an example. You never know who's watching, who's listening, who's reading. So we do the article on Padman. We do the interview with Padman. Padman hit my phone. Rob, Padman can confirm this. Me and Shane trying to get in contact with this dude all day. We like, yo, what time, bro? What time? What time? He refuses to answer. So I get a text. I'm supposed to be to work at 11. He texts me at 9:00. Bro, start a live up. I gotta get some stuff off my chest. I'm like, I'm looking at my phone, Rob, no lie. I'm like this. I'm like, what? I'm like, it's 9:00. I'm getting ready to get dressed. I said, you know what? Screw it. I just, you know what I'm saying? I hooked it up. I put him on and it just went crazy. It was like it was a coach that was close to the fighter that was kicking that real shit. And everybody just jumped on it. And that's why we always say we want to hear the coaches,
bro,
more than the fighters.
It takes a passionate ass person to hear people's words and know, like, yo, I'm very passionate about this shit. Yo, you know what's crazy? So I didn't think being passionate for anything, unless if you were involved in a sport, ever existed until I seen Jim Lampy one time talk about his years of commentary in his years of boxing, and he got so emotional when he talked about the Mickey Ward and Toro Gotti round.
Toro Gotti.
He fucking started crying, bro, and I was like, "That's the passion that I'm talking about."
Yeah,
you gotta love this shit, bro.
Yeah, no, fact,
and like
it's a fact because I'll give you an example, like, and I know we're literally at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to importance of boxing and stuff, but like for us, especially like when we see passion, you got to remember for us, me and Jeff, especially when it comes to boxing, doesn't matter where in the world it is, we could be in Australia, America, UK, we got to cover like in unsociable hours. So we might be on live, literally ask Jeff, there's been times where we've watched 4 consecutive cards and we're on live for like 5 hours in a row, just watching fight after fight, commentary after commentary after commentary, literally no, and you can't do that if you don't love it. You see my point? So I understand exactly what you're talking about
this, man. And sometimes your passion and my passion are relatively the same. However, we have 2 different views. We speak different languages.
Right.
For example, Greg Hackett, that's my guy. I love that dude. I would listen, bro. I love Greg to death. I really, really do. But when he sits there and talks his shit about boxing, even though I feel as though I know a lot, I keep my mouth shut. I just let him talk because I enjoy hearing how he breaks shit down, and I learn just listening to him for real. Because I'm like, that shit actually makes sense.
What did I say today, Jeff? Didn't I say the exact same thing? I said, Jeff was like, oh, I want to get Greg Hackett. And I was like, there's one thing I'll say about Greg Hackett. I watch so much different like things on YouTube. One thing about Greg, which I'll always say, he thinks so different to any other American boxing fan. Not any other, but majority American fans.
He's different, man, and he's not biased. He
not biased.
Side, and he'll bring it, bro. I can listen to that dude all day, bro. I really.
I had one big issue when it comes to that boots camp, which was everybody in this gym understands how great Boots is. And then I heard Greg Hackett speak, and I'm like, Greg Hackett's probably the only one in that, not the only one in the gym. He's probably the only one who probably look at it and go, all right, cool. You're here, but you need to be here. You see my point? He's always keeping this dude in check. And I'm like, you need that in your camp.
I ain't gonna lie, man. You need that shit, though. You need that shit. Dead serious, bro. Like, it's... Yo, shout out to Greg, man. That's
hey, Rob, that's this
right now. He's working a corner tomorrow with Corey, James Martin, and they out there in Houston, Texas. So I hope that all goes well and everybody walks great.
Yo, I'm still mad at James Martin, man, because I needed that Vito Milnicki rematch, man, because they was fronting like that John was a fluke or something, man. I said I needed that rematch.
What other comments do you want me to get to?
You got
let me see. Will Stokes said, one other thing I should mention is that my body naturally keeps skinny for some reason. So even if I eat a lot, I have struggled to gain weight. So get a help. So I'm gonna send it to you in the DM.
Bro,
I'm gonna let you
care about that shit. Just hit me up, bro. I got you.
Boxing Kings Archive says salute G5 Goodfellas podcast. Speaking of man strength, can you ask Coach, does he think Devin Haney has fully developed into his man strength punching power?
So
good question.
I've heard stories of what Haney be doing to people in the gyms. I've heard a lot of stories. And you know what? Every single story is incredibly believable because right now, Devin walks at a specific weight. He spars at that specific weight, and he dominates at that specific weight. So in reality, Devin Haney, even though that he's young, I do believe that it's going to come a time where he has to move up in weight and he's going to become incredibly dominant. And you're going to see a whole different level of strength when you see him hit people.
Hey, Rob, hold on real quick, Shane. Let me tell you how much we on the same page and we haven't talked. Shane, did I not get on the
You said that yesterday. You said that yesterday.
I said that yesterday on the show, Rob. I said, yo, Devin Haney and sparring is something different.
Yeah.
And I said, there's a reason why you don't see that in his actual fights. And I couldn't put my finger on why, but you really just broke down.
Yeah, it's when once he start, and I'll give you guys an example of it. At 135 and catch weight 139, when Terence Crawford was doing this 135, 139 catch weight thing, he was never really a out and out bang on knocking dudes out with a single. He was shredding his weight so much that he was losing a lot of power. If you look at Terence Crawford, as he's moved up weight, he's become so much more of a single punch power person. Like he's grown into his power where now he's actually landing single shots and knocking dudes out. You weren't seeing that at 135, 139. So what?
Time out.
Go ahead. Huh?
Who did Terence Crawford hit once and got him out of there? Okay. All right. Go ahead. Go back to what you were saying. All right. So go ahead.
All right. When I mean, well, in a sense, the reason why I was saying that is because I watched Terence Crawford when he fought Ricky Burns, and I watched Terence Crawford when he was fighting at 135 and 139, and this was a dude who he could box real good, but he never had the spike that I'm seeing now. It supports the point that you're saying.
Let's put a pause on it real quick. If you're comparing any of his fights to the Sean Porter fight, that is terrible. I'm just saying it's a terrible analytical fight to judge. Reason why I'm saying that is because I'm not going to discredit Crawford. I'm not going to discredit Porter. That's not what I'm saying. But you can never give Crawford the full credit that he deserves for knocking out Porter when Kenny, before the fight, said he was going to throw in the towel regardless.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about that.
Credit. I'm sorry, but you can't. So
I wasn't really talking about that fight personally.
I'm saying, like, you know, and on that sense, it's not like when, you know, other fighters went in there and they got clip. You know what I'm saying? Like when you saw Spence fight the difference between Danny and how he did that to Ugas. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a whole different animal.
I get what you mean, but you were talking about obviously if once Devin Haney starts like moving up and he's going to
Yeah.
really grow into his strength. I was giving you an example of a fighter who's done that. I wasn't talking about Sean Porter. If you look at it, I mean, even though this was a broken individual, even look at someone like Kell Brook, for example.
Yeah.
The first 2 rounds, Terence Crawford never really landed anything. The first clean punch he landed, and I know Kell Brook's a broken fighter. First clean punch landed, changed the fight. And the same thing with Kavalauskas. He literally lands a clean check left hook over. Same thing with Jeff Horn. He's dominating Jeff Horn. He lands a real big punch, and that kind of changes the direction of the fight. This is a dude who wasn't an out-and-out puncher at 135. And now he's doing it to fighters who never really been stopped like that. I'm not saying... So it was more in support of your point of a fighter who grows up in weight class and gets stronger.
For Devin Haney, I think he's going to perform his best part of his career at 140. I think that's going to be where everybody's going to be like, oh, shit. Like, that's not the same guy that fought at this weight or that weight. I think it goes a little too high, like 47. We might be dealing with a little bit of a problem on the bigger side. But I think 140 is going to be the weight where he's going to brutally dominate a lot of people. I just sincerely hope that when he does get there, he does it the right way. That he can maintain the speed, he can maintain his elusiveness, he can maintain the power, and he can maintain the same abilities that when he takes a shot, his body can handle it. His legs being a part of that, his nervous system, so many things.
That's a great. That's a great point. I just said that yesterday. I'm like, yo, like that Devin Haney, that sparring Devin Haney is something special.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to see that in the fight.
You gotta remember though, that sparring Devin Haney in all, he's clean. He's doing. Me and you spoken about this before. He's doing amazing in sparring, but that's a sparring Devin Haney who hasn't gone through the processes of. We don't know how good his rehydration is. You see my point? We don't know how he's been rehydrating. So once he's in a fight, it's a completely different Devin Haney who is in a spar.
Yeah, I would also like to see Devin Haney box top quality type of work. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he's not boxing top quality work because I don't know, but I would like to see him like, you know how Boo Boo went and helped sparred with other guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see that. I want to see any box other guys at much heavier weight classes, and they'd be like, "Damn, he's really holding his own on this joint." You know what I'm saying? Go from there. But for right now, if you know, depending on who he boxing, I don't know who he boxing. He could be boxing top amateurs for all I know. But all I'm saying, I've heard stories. I do believe it based off what I know when it comes to this condition. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and the reason I keep bringing up Devin Haney and the sparring Devin Haney, all of the physical attributes, cool. His mentality is like I even when you see like videos of him like sparring, it's like he's in kill mode. A skilled guy in kill mode. Like, you know what I mean? Like
that's absolute. That's absolute.
Yeah.
I mean, who would you say has a? Because I have an opinion about this. I guess I'm probably going to be on my own. Who would you say is a higher seeding, Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney?
I don't know.
It's actually a good question.
I can give them more of an equal value on either or, only because they both show that they got high IQ. They both know their range. They both are very, very accurate shooters. They both show the same amount of kind of like power. It's not like Shakur go in there and knock everybody out, but it's not the same for Haney either. You know what I'm saying? Quality of work could be possibly the same. You know what I mean? So I would even it out with both.
Yeah, I think. Well, I guess I would say that's a tough one, bro. I might have to go with Rob on that one because it's the thing with Shakur. I would say his understanding of distance is like. I mean, it's my goodness.
I seen Shakur box like 20 rounds in the gym.
Yeah,
I do it like, and he does it without breathing hard as shit. So he's really fucking good at what he does. But again, I'm just only comparing from what I visually see from both parts, and saying I can't give someone more of a higher value or a higher seating rather than another.
Yeah,
I would both say this is what I'll say. The West Coast got the number 1 seed, and that's him, and then the East Coast got the
East
number
Coast.
that's him. You
Yeah, I feel you. Rob, and you know the thing that's crazy is like I think probably the one attribute in every great fighter is their understanding the distance is like next level. So you take a Haney distance, Shakur distance. I think Spence is one of the best in the sport
Nah, I
in
always say,
terms of
I always say that.
his judging the distance is crazy.
your mindset has to be different when you're going into the long distance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. What other anything?
Let's see.
It's still
No,
Will Stokes.
it's still Will, but he can get in the DMs. But no, that's about it, bro. You going on your run?
Let me see what the
I
weather.
think it stopped raining.
Let me see what the weather like. Oh, you in Philly, right, bro?
Yeah, I'm in Philly. Yeah, it stopped. This is just the ground wet. We don't care about that.
So I'll go a little bit, like about 8:40. So I got about good 20 minutes.
Okay.
Question is, I wanna answer that question myself.
Go ahead. Well, read it, Shane, and then answer.
It says, this is Bert Wachati. Will we see Ahmed Aliyev versus Stephen Fulton? Now, you know what? That question is so funny because, I mean, I know Fulton, that's a fight he's going to want more than anything because it's undisputed. You know, for him to be undisputed, that will be so significant. But what I find so funny is the fact that Ahmed Aliyev, his like claim to fame, for example, or where he became most known, especially on stateside, was him beating Danny Roman.
Right.
You know, and
right.
Since then, he hasn't quite continued the trajectory. Whereas if you look at Fulton, he's gone from Angelo Leo, Brandon Figueroa, and now Danny Roman, and you're just starting to think that where it would have been like from a fanfare perspective, 50-50, I feel like a lot of people are leaning towards Fulton more now, you know, and I feel like that might also affect negotiations also because someone like Fulton, you know, I'm not saying I personally don't know him. He's one of my favorite fighters though, but I don't know how that would affect him from a negotiations perspective. You know, he's got the momentum. He's got the PBC backing behind him. He's the unified champion. Obviously, Ahmed Aliyev is as well, but he won it at one time. He actually didn't fight 2 different champions. So Fulton's got the momentum behind him. Does that affect the negotiations? And to answer your question, will we see it? Well, it depends on how easy it is to negotiate with each other. You know, so that's my question.
It comes down to politics. It comes down to what makes money. It comes down to make sense. It's the brutal truth about the sport. It's a disgusting part of the sport where a number 1 mandatory cannot fight the world champion because there's a loophole where the champion can fight another champion and then vacate and no penalties get done. Like there's too many fucking belts. There's too many promotion companies that don't get along. So at the end of the day, will we see a fight? Possibly. Will we? Will not? Who cares? Like at the end of the day, we got to focus on Saturday. Saturday, Scooter's going to go out there and do his damn thing. And then from that point on, we'll see who's next.
Yeah, I think athletically, I think where Scooter is going to separate is I think the IQ is higher, and then just physically, I just think he's better.
Physically he's better.
Physically, he's so much better than Danny Roman.
Were you talking about Roman? Oh no, he's gonna mock Roman. I thought you meant the MJ fight. My bad.
No, the MJ fight, the MJ fight. That's a classic. That's a classic situation where Shane, you're 100% right. Like he's kind of been like this, where Fulton is going up. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. Crazy, bro. He fought a lot of undefeated fighters.
Yeah.
Beat people that people didn't think he was gonna beat.
You know what I'm more impressed with? When he, like I always say, you gotta make a believer out of me. That's what I always say. What I'm more impressed with this dude is this dude takes your style and beats you at it. That's what I love about Scooter, bro. That's why this dude's one of my favorite fighters in the sport. He takes
I,
your style and beats you at your
hey,
style. That's what I love.
hey, Rob, I when I seen when I met you and I seen Scooter like for the first time like in the gym, we just got finished watching the fight with Leo, and I'm like, it took for me to see him physically in person. I'm like, oh, I said I see why he went in there and kind of like bullied the bully, because I'm like, he's bigger than the bully. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Scooter a bad boy, bro.
he's bigger than the bully.
I like
Yeah.
I like Scooter a lot, but also too, you know, I'm a little biased on the Scooter sense just because like I personally know him, so I'm
Yeah.
always gonna support. You could say anything, you know, like I'm just biased towards Scooter.
Yeah. That's a bad dude inside that ring. And
Yeah,
I think
that next question is a good question. Yeah, that next question is a
I'll
real
get
good
this
question.
one. Yeah, I'm gonna actually ask this one, then we gonna get about this drink. Um, Will Stokes, he said, "Hey, I'm not asking questions about me anymore." He said, "I'm just asking in general how much." He said, "Rob thinks a fighter's physical strength relates to his punching power."
Relate to their punching power. All right, so you're talking about them being physically strong opposed to. So you're saying strong, but compared to knockout power is what you're asking.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. Yes.
So, so you got okay. All right, this is how I'll compare it. So you got Tank, you got Rolly. Physically strong, you got to go with Rolly. Yeah, he got knockout power, but he's physically strong. He was able, if that was like a more of a tussle match, you gotta favor it a little more on Rolly's side. To where Tank is so explosive, but he got knockout power. So he has actual physical, natural knockout power. He can touch you from any angle at any speed, and he's gonna put you right out. So he has that power. So where Rolly can be compared to where he'll telegraph a little bit more. You can see a lot of them punches, but you don't want to get hit with those shots. So another comparison would be like Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder has one hitter quitter power.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it coming. Where Anthony Joshua was physically strong. You saw it, but he didn't have that knockout power that Deontay Wilder can possess. So to compare the two, there are fighters that possess both, and then there are fighters that have more of a physical strength rather than a knockout power. So for me, I would say like Mayweather has physical strength. He's very strong. And the fact that he's so fast and he has just enough pop into his punches, getting hit with that for 12 rounds, he's going to break you down.
Right.
Where you got a guy like a Marcos Madonna who probably got one hitter quitters, who's just knockout power. You know what I'm saying? But physically strong, he may not be as strong because he's not as there. But there's certain people that's
Yeah, but there's people that possess both, like a
I know.
Baturbia, for example. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think Tank possessed both. You know what I'm saying? I think Boots possessed both.
Boots possess both.
Boost.
Boots
Oh my
possess
God.
both.
Boost.
Oh yeah, Boots possessed both. You know what I'm
I,
saying?
I, I made the comparison of Boots and Baturbia the other day. I'm like, bro, those two are just like, when I look at them, I just think, obviously, skill wise, Boots is just more advanced, but I'm just thinking, like, physically, these are physical specimens. Like, they're
Yeah.
just so, they're just a, they're just bodies like
Yeah.
carved out of stone. I
Yeah.
watched something where Boots was doing this thing. I've never seen a fighter do it, where he's balancing on this ball and he's just stretching this thing and he's just balancing on this thing and they're hitting his abs at the same time. And I'm like, the amount of muscles that's working in this same exercise.
So
And for him,
it's funny you say that because that's the exercise we did in the last camp. That was actually our last day.
oh wow, okay.
That was the
Okay.
last strength and conditioning day, and that's something that I changed my ways of constructing conditioning. So I have a certain way of doing it. So his body was being tested on a balance, core, physical strength, mind, everything. I tested every possible thing that I can think of.
I could visibly see it, bro. I could visibly see. I'm thinking, do you know how much like muscles are working in this one
Yeah.
exercise? And the dude made it look so easy. Like he
Yeah.
made. I'm thinking you can get any man who's like an athlete. They're gonna struggle to do this. I don't
Yeah.
care
So
what sport it is.
those discs that we have, I bought those discs meant for that specific purpose. So it's filled with air.
Okay.
And for what a lot of people don't know, that's mind blowing, is that Boots had Vapor Maxes on. So that makes it way harder than
Okay.
what
I didn't know that.
in the sneakers.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. That obviously.
Got air bubbles in the sneakers, and the sneakers are sitting on air bubbles. It makes it.
Yeah. No. That's ridiculous.
That wasn't planned. That was actually by accident. But he said, "Let's do it." So I said, "All right, let's do it." And then his brother ended up coming in and was watching us do the conditioning. So I said, Farah, I need to hold the time. I got to hold the timer. I need you to do me a favor. And he did that. Both brothers did it, actually. One day, Pooh did it, and then the other one, Farah did it.
And Boots' brothers get busy in the ring too, and people forget about that. They get busy too.
I truly believe that his brother Pooh, is gonna be bold in years to come.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely gonna be the next one.
Yep. I gotta get this last one out the way before we close this thing out. And I talked to you about this before, Rob. You got a specific video up with Malik where y'all at the track.
Yeah.
And you have your hands on the lower part of his back.
Yeah.
He's literally backing up, but you're giving him resistance, and then you told him to turn and shoot, just go. Yeah. And then after a couple of steps, you told him to slow down.
Yeah.
What was the purpose of that exercise?
So it's working different parts of the muscles. It's working hamstrings that a lot of people tend to fail to work on when it comes to legs and stuff. So, but what people didn't realize is that I already gassed Malik out prior to doing that drill, and I purposely did that. Mm-hmm. So he was working off pure strength. So I can't tell you on camera what my analogy is and why I do these things.
Right.
Conversation that we can have off camera, and when I tell you why I do these things, you'll look at the way I do shit a little different. But adding the resistance to his chest, he was putting his weight on me.
Right.
So I was putting my weight on him. So with him backing up slowly, and at a command, he has to turn around. What happens is your body is freaks. We're all freaks of habit. We only recognize whatever we're going through at that moment. Okay. So it's kind of like trying to throw a punch underwater. You throwing hard as shit to trying to hit that other person. And it
ain't working.
It ain't working. Then when you get out of that water, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I took the idea from that and transformed it into a sprint drill. But it's so much what you guys saw wasn't the full thing. Like there was things that added to get to there. So I had to get to certain levels to make sure that we can get there. But to answer your question, it helps out with explosiveness, and because his mind was already exhausted from everything else, it allows me to see where his performance at when he's mentally exhausted.
Yeah. Shane, I'm actually send you what video I'm talking about, but bro, we gonna close this thing out, man, because as Rob said, like, passion come in a lot of different ways, man. Like, we passionate about what we do. Like, we'll literally sit and fucking rap all goddamn night. Like, I literally, before I let you go, Rob, I gotta tell you this quick story, bro. And Shane, remember this. I literally had did an interview with Ivan Robinson, right? So we going back and forth, we talking or whatever. So here go Padman. Padman hit my phone. yo, you got Ivan Robinson on. I ain't never beat him before, man. Put me on. So I'm like, all right, cool. So before I got the text, Ivan Robinson, I ended the live with Ivan Robinson because he just got out. He just got out the gym with Nafia Charles and all that. So I was like, I ain't want to keep him too long. So I took him off. I bring Padman in. He like, yo, where's Ivan Robinson at? Like, he's like, I can talk to you. We cool and all, but he was like, where Ivan Robinson at? Ivan Robinson never left the backstage, like on StreamYard. Like he never
He's
left the
been there now. He
backstage.
was there the whole time.
He
Like
was
for
there
like
the whole time,
35 minutes, just waiting and
sitting there,
listening.
just listening and waiting. So I'm like, yo, I'm like, bro, I'm like, you want to jump back in? And he like, yeah, I'll jump back in. So I literally sat back, and you know how you said when you listen to Greg, like you just shut up. I'm literally on camera with these two. They never met. They're going for about 45 minutes straight.
45 minutes,
Straight,
bro.
just
And
talk.
Jeff literally has to force the live to end.
I'm talking that good boxing shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this. I ain't reading no comments, no nothing. I'm like in a zone.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally in a zone. And I'm like, before I knew it, we like 3 hours in. And
Right.
I'm like, I'm getting yelled at. Like,
Look
yo,
at this.
the
Like,
food's
we're
ready.
2 hours, we're
45
15
minutes.
minutes away from 3 hours.
Rob, I'm getting yelled at. Like, yo, the food's ready. All types of stuff.
It's beautiful.
I literally had to cut. I was just like, fellas, I said, I hate this. I was like, I got to break this shit up, man. Like, I got to break this shit up.
I remember
Like,
that.
so that passion thing is like, that's one of the
Chris
realest
Casey
things
was
I
there
heard,
as well.
man. Chris Casey was there as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? But listen, Rob, we appreciate you so much, bro. Safe travels out there to Minnesota. And we know Scooter and Malik going, put on for the city for sure. Give them your social media, good brother.
So y'all can find me at Instagram. I am alchemy_TSW. I don't know how to work my damn Twitter, so don't reach out to me on there. I'm still trying to work that shit out. I don't know how. Facebook. I normally am on Facebook, but I use it more for family reasons because my family, I get in touch with the family. But the best way to reach out to me is on there. If you want to see any of our work in the gym, just reach out to Philly Boxing 101 at Instagram. We'll be solid.
Hey man, listen, we appreciate you jumping on, man. I gotta order my thing of CMOS, man. And if you need your CMOS, man, go see my man Rob Acosta, man.
Acosta, I do everything.
Yeah, man.
What other things do you sell?
Just that right now, besides information.
That's real shit.
So,
that's real shit.
I mean, so I don't know if it's a wise thing to say, but I'm a risk taker, so I'm gonna fucking say it anyway. So I've known numerous people who had COVID.
Right.
And I've gave them the right advice, and they were able to recover from COVID within 5 days, sometimes less than that. And it's all about natural things, bro. It's a lot of like now that's a live interview where if I break a lot of things down, I'm gonna hurt a lot of feelings because people are gonna be incredibly disappointed to hear what exactly are the ingredients in certain foods, and they're gonna be like, "What?" Because I'll tell you what's banned in other countries that they let rock out over here, and you're like,
bro, I'm gonna message you about that. I'm straight up. I'm gonna message you about that. 100. Not today, cause I gotta go sleep, but tomorrow or something.
Or for really quick, just so I can educate whoever's watching or whatever. I don't know if you're gonna, when you repost this, but check this shit out. If you go to any cereal and you look at the ingredients on the cereal, of course you got the top ingredients, and then it breaks all the way down to the minimum ingredients. Mm-hmm. If you see a word that is TSP, also known as trisodium sulfate, it's an ingredient used in a lot of cereals. It's also the same ingredient that they use in paint thinner.
I didn't know that.
So, if you want to know a lot of shit. I could shoot this shit all day. Listen.
I'm checking my cinnamon toast crunch when I get in the
Oh,
kitchen.
That's in there.
Oh, I got to toss.
And there's actually there's different types of magnesiums that you take that the body absorbs better than the regular brand that are very low cost in Walmart or certain ones. Like you get certain ones that the body absorbs it better, and it's the same magnesium, it's just at a different calorie.
Wow.
Shit all day. Will take your live will go into 6 hours easy.
Yeah, man. I'm cutting this shit, man. I'm cutting. Shane, give me your social media so I get this guy up out of here, man.
I
gotta be
underscore.
checking my cereal and shit.
I am underscore Shane the number one. Obviously, that's on Instagram only.
And you see it, please shoot a screenshot at it. Tag me.
I'm sending it, yo. I'm sending it. So I'm tagging it, all that.
What we calling it? The TSP challenge. That's what we're calling it.
UK, I don't think there's nobody fat in UK. Like I think you straight, bro.
Shane. Yo, Shane, hey Rob. Shane came to the city, man. I look like Shane security, bro.
Yo,
bro, I eat more than Jeff. I eat way more than Jeff.
There's a alert. Like, all right, so you got red dye 40, yellow 5, blue. Yeah. Don't get me started. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to cut this shit short for y'all. But there's a lot of shit that is in foods, even in breads. That is the reason why bread is so cheap in certain spots and why it's expensive in other
areas. Got you.
I get you. Like even like Jeff is so much bigger than me. But when I was in Philadelphia, we went so much places to get food. I ate so much more than Jeff. Like I eat so much more than Jeff, but I'm so small.
Yo, I don't eat
great compared to his though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sweat a lot faster, and he's only sweating because of his weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact.
If you brush your teeth, you sweat.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm definitely checking the cereal boxes, man, and I'm
we're gonna do what's it called? TSP? Is it TSP?
I'm doing the TSP challenge.
It's
TSP challenge.
Try sodium sulfate.
Sodium sulfate. I got it.
Try
sodium sulfate.
TRI.
I'm on it.
We're doing that. We're doing the challenge. Everybody who sees that on their series, just screenshot that post.
I'm sitting here. Yo.
If you go to any milk and you see gelling gum or any word that is gum, you'll normally see that in the almond breeze milks or anything like that. That gum it sticks to the intestines in the inside, and it's hard for the body to break it down. So therefore, eventually, you end up getting clogged arteries in the long run.
Bro, I'm thinking how many cereals I got in the kitchen, yo.
Get me started. I'll tell you, man. I'll throw out all that shit.
Yo, I'm getting off here, man. I'm sitting. I'm eating. Hey Shane, I'm eating paint thinner, man. I'm done, yo. I'm done.
Real shit.
Yo.
But listen, check me out. Like I said, man, I'm open to anybody that wants to talk, anybody that got questions. You know, I'll tell you I can't.
Hey, man, we appreciate you, man. I'm all over the place, man. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, G5JeffTV, website, G5JeffTV.com. Article on Rob Acosta is coming soon. I don't know exactly when, but soon. We need that Rob Acosta article up and going. But listen, man, on behalf of the best strength and conditioning coach in the business, Rob Acosta, my man, GOAT status, you know what I'm saying? Rob Acosta, my man, VP Shane, and your boy G5JeffTV, man. We hope you enjoyed it. We will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.
Peace.